Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I'm going to be walking you through the crypto markets. First things first, we're going to start off with the short term of Bitcoin, then we're going to be moving on to the mid-term of Bitcoin, and then we're going to be jumping onto the long term of Bitcoin. Once we finish Bitcoin in a nutshell, in a sense, then we're going to be jumping across and doing some altcoins. So if you guys have any altcoins, dump them in the chat now and I will get to them once I'm finished doing Bitcoin, right? Without further ado, let's just get straight into it, right? The short term for Bitcoin, right? The short term for Bitcoin on the hourly chart right now, as discussed on yesterday's stream, in this rising wedge that we have here, we were looking for this level of support on this downward sloping support line that we've got coming down here, right? We were looking at that, but I was speaking to a few people on the chat yesterday, and we're looking at getting into short in terms of a measure move completion, looking something along the lines of this, right? In terms of a percent for that trade coming out of that rising wedge there, we were looking at a nice near enough 4% trade, right? Near enough 4%. For me personally, I didn't take that trade just because of all these levels of support in terms of moving averages. And in terms of this dominant trend line that we've got coming down from this insane lower high when that trend was basically formed from that insane panic selling off, right? But yeah, at this point in time, we did actually break to the downside. We did actually find a nice level of support on this trend line here, which gives me some sort of inkling to do this with this trend line, right? With this trend line, because we are finding a nice level of support here. So that basically creates a bigger rising wedge, right? A bigger rising wedge to think about. If we are going to break to the lower side, right? If we're going to break to the lower side of this rising wedge, which at this point in time, live right now, we're currently testing the 38,000 zone. Definitely something to consider if we are to break it. But remember, we do actually have this dominant trend line coming down from the top side here, right? And that is pretty dominant indeed, as we are finding a nice level. We did find a nice level of support on it, right? So at this point in time, if we do lose this rising wedge here, we're likely to find a bit of support on this trend line before breaking down and testing the crucial point of 36,500. Definitely something to consider, right? Because if we do lose this 36,500 mark, it's not good at all, right? It's not good at all, because then we are basically going to be demolishing this high low which we set on this uptrend that we were doing here. And if that is the case, we are looking at a bit of a reversal, right? And we could be seeing lower lows being formed continuously in this new downtrend, which we could potentially be forming, looking something like that. And that's, for me personally, that's not great for Bitcoin at all. It basically signifies that all of this all this progression to the upside, all this momentum to the upside, all this insane buying power that we've seen is pretty irrelevant, right? Pretty irrelevant, and we are just going to keep continuing down, straight down into the abyss of this dirty bear market, which we're undecided at this point in time. If we're looking for a measure move down for this rising wedge, right? If we're looking for a measure move down in terms of a trade for this rising wedge, I would be looking at something along the lines of this. Obviously, depending on where we're going to break here, depending on where we're going to break along this trend line, I would be looking at a measure move down from there. Yeah, I would be looking at hello Sky Demex, what's good, man? Sorry, I didn't have the chat up. First mistake, right? Yeah, we would be looking at a measure move coming down, something along the lines of this, right? Obviously, depending on where we're going to break along this trend line that we've got going on here. But yeah, as you can see, I have moved this down to form this bigger rising wedge here. I would be looking, I would have liked to touch to the bottom side here, just for a bit more of a healthy confirmation in terms of a chart pattern here. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We've got five healthy touches there. So that's an indication that we could be looking at a potential trade to the downside, right? Potential trade to the downside would be looking at around an 8, near enough 8.5%. Definitely something to consider, but you do need to think about this crucial point here at that 36,500 zone. Just because if we do lose that, as I said a second ago, we are going to be losing a higher low, and that is an indication that we are going to come down from that. We could see a bounce from this point here. We could see a bounce from this point here to the upside. So if you are going to be entering a short here, I wouldn't be getting in straight away. I'd be waiting for the confirmation that we get over this that we get below and we don't find support on this dirty trend line that we've got coming down here. If we can get below that and find a bit of resistance on that, that's when I'd be entering my short there, and I would be entering my short, and I'd probably be taking a nice, I'd probably take around 75% profit at this point here, because as you can see, we do have a pretty dominant bounce point here. So it's likely that we are to bounce off this point here and form that pretty dominant horizontal resistance zone there. So definitely something to think about when taking a short position on the short term for Bitcoin today, right? On the short term for Bitcoin today, right? But yeah, in terms of a percent for that little trade that we were looking at there, we're looking at something like a 2.9, near enough 3% trade. Not too bad, right? Not too bad for a little scalpy scalp, which could happen in a few hours or so. And that's pretty much the short term, what's going on in terms of chart patterns and stuff, in terms of horizontal resistance points, in terms of downwards pressure, in terms of the downtrend, which we're currently in right now on the MACD here on the short term. We do, as stated on yesterday's stream, I stream every morning, stated on yesterday's stream, we do have this dominant level of support here, and as you can see, we are primarily respecting it every time we switch to a downtrend here. As you can see, we are fizzling out, right? We have fizzled out a bit, but that means that we do have quite a lot of quite a lot of leg room to come down, right? And that's basically an indication that we could be coming down off this trend line. If we don't find support on this trend line, I wouldn't be looking for a bullish crossover here to switch to that uptrend. I would be looking to stay bearish here in terms of a downtrend here and fall below, and then look at the bounce point on this horizontal line, which at this point in time, as you can see, we do have a long way to go before we get there. So that is an indication that we are going to bounce from this point as we did before. When we hit this downtrend before. So it's definitely something to think about and to watch while you're entering your trades here, because if we do bounce at that point, it's going to be, that's why I said it's going to be a lovely take profit position. So we will need to be watching the MACD with extreme confidence when we're in that short trade there. Definitely something to consider, right? And that's the MACD for the hourly right now. In terms of the RSI, we're pretty central, right? We're pretty central. You think we're going to hit 30K? To be honest, crucial point is here, around that 36,500 zone. If we lose that, then we are gonna see some progressive selling to the downside. It might cause some sort of panic sell, but this is another crucial point to look out for in terms of support at that 35.2 zone, because as you can see, we do have quite a lot of bounce points here, and as you can see, when we did hit that insane 30K low before, the actual close was around this $35,000 mark. So if we do get to this $35,000 mark, excuse me, we could see a colossal dump from there, but I do think we are potentially going to recover. And the low point from there, because obviously when we get to that mark, a lot of people have got limit orders literally stacked up to buy Bitcoin, right? A lot of people have got limit orders stacked up to buy Bitcoin. So in terms of the absolute bottom that I can see, I can't see it's going lower than 30K anytime soon, but I can, in my prediction in terms of what I think is going to happen in terms of like bear market or bull market at this point in time, I do think we are going to be scurrying around this point for quite a while, right? Creating that uncertainty for Bitcoin, creating that a lot less confidence, right? Because at this point in time, if you look back in history, for this whole bull run, it's literally just been positive for Bitcoin. There's been hardly any negative at all. And with all this positive, we need a bit of negative, right? So it's definitely something to consider. I do think, and for me, trading this as a sideways market would be, it's pretty good, right? We can see some pretty dominant trend patterns. We do also have this giant channel to think about to the downside. The bottom side trend line for that would be around this 30K mark in terms of a bounce point. And also we do have the volume weighted ATR band here. So if I am seeing some insane panic sell off to the downside, probably not going to happen today, but by the end of the week, it is the end of the week, but yeah, probably on the bank holiday actually, because things usually tend to happen on the bank holiday like crazy. So if that is to happen and we are to see some insane panic sell-off, I would be looking at a potential long position off this trend line here, because I don't see us going any lower than 30K, but it's definitely a position to think about, because we do obviously have this volume weighted ATR band as a backup for a bounce as well, right? And I'm looking, because obviously we have bounced a couple times now. We have bounced a couple of times from this point here. So I'll be looking at a potential bounce, a potential long position, because to get those insane gains, those mega gains from there, right? Definitely something to consider, right? Now back to the RSI. Back to the RSI on the short term for Bitcoin here. We are pretty central, right? We're pretty central. And that basically means, right, we could go either way. We can go either way. We can have buying power. We can have selling power. Who knows? Who knows right now? At this point in time, we are curling to the downside, and that's an indication that we are coming down to test the support on this trend line that we've got coming down here at around 37,750. If we are going to pump to the upside, right, I don't see it happening pretty imminently, because we have just set the higher high of this uptrend right now, and currently we are. Oh, yeah, we dumped down recently in this hour, right? Jesus, we dumped down recently in this hour within literally the last 10 minutes, right? That's why I missed it. Yeah, within the last 10 minutes, right? So at this point in time, if we are going to come up, we're looking at a crucial breakpoint of this 55 moving average to set a higher high in terms of this uptrend, right? If we are going to set a higher high in terms of this uptrend, it's likely that we are to continue up from there, and then potentially see a bounce down later on in the day if we can find a nice level of support on this 55 moving average. So crucial point to watch would be this right now. If we are to close this candle without creating a higher high in terms of this uptrend that we got going on here, and we are going to be hitting those higher lows here, then it would be an indication that we are going to basically trickle down for a bit, or we're going to trickle down for a few hours, potentially testing this major trend line, major level of support that we've got going down here, right? Definitely something to consider. In terms of the RSI, what I was just saying, if we are going to see that surge of buying power, it's not going to be that it's not going to be that relevant on the RSI, right? Because we're not overbought, we're not oversold, so we can't really get a great indication of where we're going to go, right? And in order to do that, we need to be overbought, we need to be oversold to get a better indication and to basically use the RSI to our advantage, right? But yeah, in terms of that trade for that short term, that's what I'd be looking for in terms of a short. But yeah, obviously managing the MACD and the RSI with that as well, right? I'm just going to have some H2O, baby. And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously, right? Obviously, new YouTuber on the block. Need a bit of help in the old YouTube algos. So I do appreciate that a lot, right? And let's jump to the midterm for Bitcoin, right? Jump to the midterm for Bitcoin. As discussed on yesterday morning stream, we do have this this falling wedge coming through here. This falling wedge coming through, and we did have this trade that we got in, right? We got in this trade like 3-4 days ago, right? And that was very juicy indeed. Made a nice 8% there at this point in time. For what's going on here, it is a bit of a channel situation going on, in my opinion, right? Bit of a channel situation going on, in my opinion. We're seeing dominant trend lines to the top side, dominant trend lines to the bottom side, right? But we are currently testing this 21 moving average. Ideal scenario right now is we have found a nice level of support. We are going to smash through this 21 moving average here on the midterm for Bitcoin. So obviously we are quite early into our and you can't see the prices on my screen again. Wow, that's annoying. Yeah, just give me 1 sec. Let me sort that out for you guys. Obviously, I didn't save the chart from the last time I did that, right? Yeah, hold on. Just give me 1 sec, guys. Let me just sort all that out for you. Very, very annoying. Apologies for that. Very unprofessional. But yeah, back to the midterm right now. Back to the midterm. As you can see here, now we have the prices on the screen where you guys can see. Very good indeed. Let me bring that chat back up next to me. Yep, right. Back in the game, right? We have bounced off this major trend line that we've got going on here. We are testing the 21. If we can find a nice level of support on this 21 when this 4-hourly closes, when this 4-hourly close happens here, that would be ideal. I would be looking at coming up to test this 10 moving average at 38.8 there. That would be ideal. What's up, Ivo? My OG out here. Yeah, I would be looking at to come up and test that 38.8 zone there. Ideally, if we can get a nice level of support on that, the next target would be this 55. But as you can see, we do have a lot of downwards momentum from that 55. Ideally, right now, we do need some upwards momentum for Bitcoin, and we don't want to be coming down and testing this this higher low level that we've got coming up here from this previous uptrend which we were in. And it is that reversal, right? So it's a crucial point. If we do come down and test this level here, and we don't get a bounce and we lose it, it's looking like we're going to go down, right? It's looking like we're going to go down. And that's not good, right? That's not good. It's looking like we could basically trickle down from that, potentially come down and test the top side of this trend line that we got coming down here. And as I said previously on my stream here, that is around that 30K mark, so definitely something to consider, right? In terms of ideal scenario for this rising price channel that we got going on here, ideal scenario, right? We come up and test the top side. We see a nice 41K Bitcoin, and we come up and basically we try our luck for these lower high points again. We try our luck to break these lower high points again, the crucial points for Bitcoin around that 41, 42K mark to look for that progression to the upside, right? But in order to do that, we do have insane levels of resistance to get through. And I said, ideally, let's find some support on that 55, right? And then come up and test the top side here. And hopefully, if we don't find a level of resistance here, we can see a break to the upside. But at this point in time, confidence for Bitcoin, I think it is dropping. Like yesterday, we did see it drop quite significantly, right? So it's definitely something to consider. If we are to lose this trend line here, if we are to lose this trend line here of this rising price channel, in terms of a measurement to the downside, in terms of a short position, we could be looking at something along the lines of this, right? Looks pretty good, looks pretty big, correlates perfectly with this volume weighted ATR band coming through here, looking along the lines of this, right? Something like that, potential take profit position coming down here, but you have to take into account, we have got these crucial points here, these crucial higher lows on this side to think about here, and obviously the lower lows coming down here on that side. So this is going to be a crucial point, and that's where I would be taking a pretty juicy bit of profit if we were to enter a short after leaving this falling price channel here. In terms of a profit for that, it would be around a 3 to 4%, looking something along the lines of the same for the short term for Bitcoin there. So it's definitely something to consider in terms of that. But obviously, we are going to manage our position. If we are to get into a short here, we are going to look at this crucial point. If we are to break this crucial point, we could be looking at a pretty big dump, right? We are looking at a pretty big dump because if we lose this higher low here, we're looking at basically a swift reversal in the trend, right? Because we are setting these higher highs, but then we're going to be setting a lower highs, and that basically means a big curl off and then progression rate to the downside, right? And that's for me. for me, that's a bit more confirmation that the bear market is nigh. The bear market is nigh. The bear market is not next. Hamster X on screen. Hamster X on screen. Don't know what that means, bro, but yeah. It's probably my brother. Something to do with my brother, but yeah. Hey, man. Good to see you, Ivo. But yeah, in terms of a bounce point for this volume-weighted ATR band here, I would be looking for around near enough, just over 9% there. Very juicy indeed for a trade for Bitcoin, right? That'd be very nice indeed, but obviously taking a nice chunk of profit, as I just said, at this crucial point here at that 36.1 zone. And for me, it's not going to be bad. It's not all bad there. And that's pretty much the chart pattern summed up in terms of moving averages and stuff. But as you can see here, we have this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI to think about as well. And if we are to come up and test this 55 here, if we are to come up, test this 55 moving average that we got coming down through this rising price channel here, we're looking like we're going to find some resistance on the RSI in terms of buying power, right? So that is an indication, right, that we are going to see a pretty swift rejection, right? We're going to see a pretty swift rejection from the 55 to the downside, potentially testing the 21 as well, right? Potentially finding support on the 21 as well, right? If we can do that, ideal. If we see enough buying momentum, right? If we see enough buying momentum to the upside, and then we smash through this downward sloping resistance line, I can see us breaking this 55. Ideally, that's the ideal situation. We break it, as I said a second ago, we break it, we find support on it, we progress to the upside. That would be very nice indeed, right? And we're going to be managing the RSI, managing our position here. Because we do obviously have this dominant level of resistance here to think about. As you can see, it's primarily respected. We do have the spillovers, the little trappy moments, but yeah, it's primarily been respected from this higher high point here. So it's definitely something to consider when entering your trade today, especially managing ourselves around this 55 moving average, right? Because if we are to come up, we're going to be testing this at exactly the same time. That's the RSI on the short term here. Whoa, whoa, whoa! On the macadamia nut here, we do have a bearish crossover pretty imminently, and that basically backs up the facts for a potential short position here, for a potential measure move completion, as I was just saying, right? Potential measure move, potential short to think about. As I said, taking some profit at this 36,193 mark, and as you can see on the MACD here, we do have this dominant, pretty downtrend cycle, right? This dominant downtrend cycle, which, in my opinion, it has pretty much played out, right? If we are going to see a downtrend, a bearish crossover flip over here, we are going to see a dominant lower low in terms of a downtrend happening, right? Whether it's going to be a bounce at the previous downtrend that we had there, I don't think it is. I think it could be colossally lower than that, and that's an indication that we are looking at potentially coming down to complete that measure move. But obviously, we do need to manage that accordingly as and when this happens on the MACD. It's pretty imminent, all right? It's pretty imminent, right? But we are still, we're only 20 minutes into this 4 hour, right? We're only 20 minutes into this 4 hour, so it's definitely something to consider. Is Bitcoin going to 37K today? What are your thoughts on ETH flipping? Just give me 1 sec, Waterfall. I'll jump onto ETH straight after Bitcoin, right? Let me do a little bit of Bitcoin right now. Yeah, as I was saying, if we are going to have that continuation to the downside, and we are going to see this new downtrend forming this lower low on the MACD on the midterm here, we are going to be looking at a potential measure move, a short position coming down out of this channel, right? In terms of percents for that, we are looking at literally a nice, near enough 8% trade. And we could be looking at a perfect bounce off this volume-weighted ATR band as well. So that's definitely something to think about. And we do need to be looking at this MACD here when we are trading this position, because if we are to get a potential bounce off this point, we are going to see that bullish crossover on the MACD, right? And that's at 36,193. So we will be looking at a potential take profit at that point. Potentially probably like 75%, maybe even 50% there. So definitely something to consider when trading the old Bitcoin. In answer to your question, Harshit, we are going to get, did you say, are we going to 37K today, right? Are we going to 37K today? 37 is, as I said a second ago, that's around this point, right? So we do actually have these high lows to think about in terms of this trend that we're forming. At this point in time, if we don't find support on this 21 moving average, right? If we don't find support on this 21 moving average, and to be honest, we are seeing that buying power, and we have smashed through the resistance there. So the resistance that we got on the previous candle, right? So at this point in time, we are finding a nice level of support there, right? So ideally, we're going to find support and we're going to progress to the upside. I can see us testing this 55. Referencing the RSI a second ago, we do have this dominant level of resistance here in terms of a downward sloping resistance line here. So we are potentially looking at a bounce down in terms of selling power from there. So yeah, if we do get up to this 55 or potentially even this 10 moving average that we've got going on here at around that 38, 39, 40 zone, I would be looking at a bounce down from there pretty significantly, in my opinion, whether it's to the 21, whether it's up from there. But at this point in time, I would be looking at some sort of trend reversal here. And because we are setting these lower highs, right, in terms of this downtrend that we've got going on here, if we can't get above this previous lower high that we've got going on here, then I would be looking at some sort of trend reversal here. And yes, that would mean we would be coming down to the 37 mark to see some sort of testing there, right? And that does kind of correlate perfectly with the RSI coming up to this point here, and then getting that rejection, that swift rejection, and then that downwards pressure, right? That downward selling pressure, smashing through these lower lows of this trend. Potentially seeing a lovely little short position in terms of a measure move. That's the wrong tool. In terms of a measure move coming down from this rising price channel here. Definitely something to consider, right? Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just my opinions on what I think might happen in the market and a little bit of educational standpoint, right? But yeah, that's pretty much the midterm summed up for Bitcoin there. Potential short position to look out for. Yeah, very, very nice stuff indeed, right? Let's jump to the long term. Let's jump to the long term, right? As I was saying yesterday on yesterday's stream, I do stream every single morning, 1 to 2 hours, right? A little bit late today on the old stream, but 1 to 2 hours every single morning. I might even go for longer today. I am seeing how I feel, right? In terms, I had a good sleep last night, so we'll see how we go, right? In terms of crucial points, right? In terms of a crucial point, to if we are going to come up and test this point here, this here around this 40 to 41 to 42k mark, that is crucial, right? If we don't break that, we're looking at that continuation to the downside, potentially testing this lower section around that 34,600 mark. But at this point in time, we were setting these higher highs in terms of this uptrend, right? In terms of the long term, we were setting these higher highs, but with that being said, this candle right now, this candle is looking pretty bad. It's looking pretty bad. We did set these high lows continuously up, and then we did set this lower low in terms of this downtrend that we got going on here. So it's not looking very good indeed. If we're not going to break this higher high that we've got coming up of this uptrend, then I can see us coming down from there, right? I can see us coming down from there. Ideally, not the best scenario there, but I can see us coming down. And in order for that to happen, we will be losing the 10 moving average coming down here. And in terms of a target price for that, in terms of this next downswing, I would be looking at a bounce around this point here. In terms of a horizontal support level, and that is around 34,600. In terms of the absolute low where we could go, we do have this volume weighted ATR band to think about. Look at that juicy bounce that we had there. This is where I'd be looking at a bounce up from there, and that is around 30k, right? I don't see us going lower than 30k anytime soon. But obviously, with that being said, right, we could get to around this price here. And then as you saw the other day, right, we had insane amounts of selling power, right? Insane amounts of people selling Bitcoin, whether it was panic selling, everything, right? Everyone was just literally panic selling, right? Well, personally, I wasn't, but a lot of people, a lot of the uneducated people in the market, they were just like panic selling because they invested a lot of their money, right? Probably 90% of their net worth into Bitcoin and all these other altcoins and stuff. So they were literally panic selling because they were just watching their net worth just dump, right? So if we do get down to around this level here and we do see a potential little bounce here, we could actually be looking, hello Thanos G, we could be looking at a potential panic sell down to this 30k mark. If we get to this 30k mark in a nice stagnant position, we could be looking at a panic sell off that, potentially coming down even further than that, maybe the 26, 25, but that's obviously on the FUD in the market, right? Obviously all depending on what is going to happen and what everyone's feeling in terms of emotions today on a Thursday. Very nice. It's Thursday, right? Yeah, it's Thursday. Very nice indeed. But yeah, target-wise, I would be looking at coming up, testing this 200. Ideally, that's the ideal scenario. Coming up, testing this 200 and finding a level of support here. If we can find a level of support on here, I would be looking for that 43k mark to challenge this bull market barrier yet again. That's probably not going to happen today, right? As we can see, that selling power, as we can see, we do have quite a lot of resistance and stuff to get through on the midterm for Bitcoin there. So not ideally, but in terms of likelihood and what I think could potentially happen today, we are looking at this short. We are looking at coming down to around 34, 35. Bounce at 36, no doubt indeed. No doubt in my mind. Bounce at 36 around this level here. But if we do lose that 36 mark, I can see us basically coming down, testing that 34,600 mark. Pretty swiftly indeed. Pretty swiftly indeed. And we know how quickly this can happen. Because obviously Bitcoin is insanely volatile indeed, right? That's kind of Bitcoin summed up, guys. As Bitcoin summed up in terms of like a brief explanation there. Yeah, bit of a summary. Looking at this short position, if we lose this 21 on the midterm, crucial point. Let's jump to some altcoins. I did see, I saw ETH got requested there by a waterfall. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of ETH, right? A little bit of ETH here. Let me just have some H2O. And guys, if you're liking the stream, if you could hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously, right? I'd really appreciate that. Trying to get on the YouTube algos and stuff, it's pretty hard indeed, right? And guys, I do stream every single day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. So if you do want to do this every single day with me, and you want to see my emergency Bitcoin updates, emergency altcoin updates, some alt gems I release now and then, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? I just like to take this time to say, thank you guys for being here. It means a lot, right? So at this point in time, for ETH, right, on the daily, right, as you can see, we did obviously have that insane dump to the downside. We are continuously setting these higher lows, right? Continuously setting these higher lows. We did see a bit of a lower low coming through here. On the old lower high coming through here on the old reverse of this trend. But at this point in time, we are pretty far away from it. My thumb is blue from hitting the like. Thanks, man. It means a lot. We have seen that swift rejection from that 2,872 point, and we are looking at coming up and challenging the 55, right? So crucial point to watch today on the daily for literally this day. If we can get a nice close above the 55, that's a kind of a signal that we are going to find a nice little support there. But if we are to lose the 55, I would be looking at a potential test of it tomorrow. Potential test of the 55 tomorrow, and then probably a swift rejection there, setting a lower low in terms of this downtrend that we got forming here, right? So at this point in time, crucial points to watch for. Ideally, for the day, you want to be coming up around this level. You want to be breaking the 55. You want to be looking at that progression to the upside, setting these higher highs, right? You want to be setting these higher highs. If you are not going to be setting these higher highs around that 2,800 zone, around that 2,900 zone, let's say this 2,920 zone around this point there. If you can get over this point, then you're looking juicy. You're looking very bullish indeed. But at this point in time, it's looking pretty bearish. Looking like you're going to see a bit of a reversal, right? Looking like you're going to see a bit of a reversal indeed. At this point in time, as you can see with Ethereum right now, we are currently testing the 55 moving average on the midterm, right? On the midterm, you're currently testing the 55 moving average. Ideally, you want to be getting over that within the next 3 hours and 30 minutes. On the previous candle, you did test it. We did come down. We bounced off the 21. We bounced off the price action channel here. So that means we have got a little bit of upwards buying momentum. Seeing that that reversal in the trend from this dirty candle that we had going through here to the downside. But as you can see, we have got this higher high here. We do have this higher low coming here. Good morning, my friend Tom. How are you doing, sir? Yeah, we do have this lower high coming through here, right? This lower high coming through here. So ideal break point, I would be looking to see a complete reversal in the trend. I would be looking to break this point here and then progress to the upside, potentially challenging the 200 moving average here. But obviously, that is all in predication that you do get over this 2,872 mark. And you're finding a nice level of support on this 55, which at this point in time is looking like we are, right? It's looking like we are. That would be nice indeed. Obviously, you do have this lower high to get over as well. And that's, I'd say, next like short-term target, it would be around that 2,760 mark. Guys, if you've got any altcoins, smash them in the chat there, and I will, underrated stream, thanks, man, means a lot. Yeah, smash them in the chat, some altcoins there, and I will be jumping onto them once I'm done with Ethereum here. Got no backlogged, and if you guys aren't going to request any, I'm just going to jump down the top 50 list, right? All good, dude. If you guys aren't gonna be requesting any, I will just be jumping down the top 50 there, the top 50 cryptocurrencies altcoins there. So I will be just doing a continuous TA for you, right? A continuous TA for you. But back to Ethereum, in terms of a price target, we will be looking to the upside. It will be around that 2,800 crucial zone. At this point, we are finding support on this 55. Found a nice little support on this 21 and the price action channel there, right? In terms of horizontal levels of support, where we're looking at a bounce point in terms of getting rid of these moving averages for now, right? we would be looking at a bounce point at this 2,610 zone, right? 2,610 zone, potential bounce point for Ethereum there. Worst case scenario, right? We lose this level of support at 2,600. We lose this level of support at 2,500, and you come down and you test this higher low that we got coming through here at around this 2,300. I can't see us going any lower than that unless, as I said earlier, Bitcoin dumps off an absolute cliff, right? If Bitcoin dumps off an absolute cliff, obviously we're going to see some sort of price reversal in Ethereum. Can you look at perp? Yes, I can, sir. Yeah, Sky Demex, yes, I can. Yeah, so once I've done Ethereum, right? So yeah, if this is crucial point, if we do break this, I would be looking at a bounce from this volume weighted ATR band at 2,200. But obviously, as I just said, we do have insane levels of support to get through before we get that. But obviously, predication on what could happen with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is going to dump, I would be looking at a bounce point around these points for Ethereum, right? Definitely something to consider. But at this point in time, you are pumping. You're looking very, very healthy indeed in terms of this new uptrend that you're forming here. You're just going up. It looks very good. Very, very good indeed. Let's get those moving averages in and see how that support is planned out on that 55. Yeah, look, you're looking very, very nice indeed. Very, very nice indeed here in terms of finding a nice little support on this 55, and you have just smashed through this this lower high that we got forming in terms of this downtrend coming through here, right? So it's very good. It looks like you are going to come up and potentially test this 2,872 zone. That would be ideal, but obviously we do have this insane level of resistance to get through in terms of the lower high here, right? Let me look at perp now. That's perp now. So in terms of targets right now for a summary for Ethereum, you're looking at around that 2,872 mark, right? Around that point, right? Let's look at perp. Oh, that's wrong. Don't know if I'm allowed to swear on streams. Don't know if that's a thing. Obviously, I'm new to streaming, right? What about MATIC? Some insight, please. I did get asked yesterday, is now a good time to buy MATIC? And I said no. It actually pumped to the moon. But yeah, we'll get to MATIC. So on my list in my head, I'm going to do Theta next, and then I'm going to be on to MATIC after I've done a bit of the old perp, right? In terms of the daily for perp, it's pretty new, right? It's pretty new in terms of being on Binance, right? I don't really know a lot about this coin itself. Basically came up in March. I mean, we did see that, obviously, the downswing from the open, right? But at this point in time, it's not looking too bad. Obviously, these insane downward selling power, that is obviously due to Bitcoin itself, not due to the coin's fundamentals. But it looks good in terms of buying power, in terms of that recovery from that lower low point that was set in terms of this downtrend here. So in terms of buying power to the upside, it's looking pretty good. I would be looking at finding a nice level of support on this 21 here, and breaking this higher high point to see that continuation to the upside in terms of the daily, right? If you are going to break this higher high point in terms of the next 15 hours or so, I would be looking at a target to break at around that $11.45 mark, and then obviously challenging, is that the all-time high? No, not quite the all-time high, but challenging that the previous high close point at $13.30, right? But crucially, you do need to find a nice level of support on this 21 on the daily, and at this point in time, it is looking like you're coming down. But you have bounced off the price action channel, which isn't all bad, right? It's not all bad, but if you are to close below this point here, and you are setting these lower highs continuously, you will be looking at potentially coming down, setting these lower highs, and be looking at a bounce off this 55 at around $8.70, right? Can't see us going to this low point, this dirty low point, obviously on the predication that Bitcoin doesn't dump off an absolute cliff. But yeah, definitely something to consider in terms of a bounce point at this 55 at that $8 and near enough 70 zone, right? $8.70 zone. In terms of the 4 hour, what we got going on here. In terms of the 4 hour, what we got going on here, obviously we do have dominant trend lines coming through here. So in terms of target price points, you would be looking at, oh, look at them moving average, very, very caught up indeed. That means you're obviously looking for a price break there. Something is about to happen in terms of the price, right? So in terms of targets to the upside, obviously you have just bounced off this this 200 moving average, which is strong. It's just very nice indeed. I would potentially be looking at a bounce, a nice bit of resistance here coming from the top side here, coming down, pushing you down again, because obviously we are all caught up here. We're looking at that major price move here. Obviously, I'm not sure what it's going to do. You could be looking at a bounce coming down off this 200 here, and then basically bouncing up from there. Ideally, that's the kind of ideal scenario for you there. Unless you are to find a nice level of support, then your next target would be around this $10 mark, right? Definitely something to consider. But if you are to find a nice level of support there, I would be looking at break. This is a crucial point here for you there at that $10.49 mark. Definitely something to watch because obviously you've got this dominant trend line coming down there. If you are going to see a smash through of the resistance of that trend line, I would be looking at something along the lines of like a progressionary move to the upside from there, potentially coming up and testing this volume weighted ATR band at this $13.20 mark, right? Thanks, King. No worries, my G. Yeah, so that's definitely a crucial point to think about, right? Definitely very, very crucial indeed in terms of target price. In terms of a target price, if you are to clear this $10 mark, right? Definitely something to consider, right? Yep, that's perp. Let me have a look at what was next. Theta, wasn't it? Yeah, Theta. And guys, if you're liking the stream, if you could hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, it would help me out tremendously. Obviously, I'm a new streamer. I do need that little helping hand in terms of the YouTube algos. And guys, I do this every morning. If you want to be streaming with me every single morning, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads or one of my streams. I do altcoin videos. I do emergency updates. So yeah, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? And guys, I really do enjoy doing this for you. It's great fun. Great fun. A little bit nervous still, but I'll get there. I'll get there. It's all just work in progress. That's how you master something each 10,000 hours or something like that, right? Just give me like a second to have some H2O. Oh. H2O, baby. Love it. Right, at this point in time, Bitcoin doesn't look good through bearish eyes now. Yeah, we are pumping, right? We are pumping. We have found a nice level of support on these major moving averages coming down. Looking at testing this 200 moving average at that 39,400 mark on the short term there. Back to Theta right now. As you can see on this daily, right? On this daily, we are setting these higher lows continuously to the upside, right? Very nice indeed. But, as everything is pretty red today, we are having a bit of a red day in terms of this daily candle, right? Ideally, target price, you want to be smashing through this higher high in terms of this uptrend that we've got going on here. Potentially coming up, testing this 21. That'd be your target to the upside there. That'd be your target to the upside there at around this $8.30 zone, ideally. But in terms of positive talk, right, you are continuously setting these higher lows, right? You're continuously setting these higher lows here, so it's good. It's good. It's not the end of the world. As long as you don't break this point here, then I wouldn't be looking at some sort of continuation down, right? So at that point, in terms of a target price to the downside, I would be looking at bouncing from that $6.66 zone. Yeah, $6.66 zone. I would be looking at a bounce from there to the upside. Hopefully, if you don't break that, then I can't see that continuation down. I can basically see potentially another candle, potentially closing the candle around this point here, and then seeing that progression move to the upside, potentially testing that 21 yet again. And obviously, that is the daily sort of summed up. And obviously, it is all predication. Obviously, you guys know on what Bitcoin is going to do. If Bitcoin's going to dump off a cliff, then so's Theta token, right? It's just how it works. It's just how it works. At this point in time, on the short or the midterm right now, you can see we do have pretty dominant trend line, which we are currently finding a nice level of support on, right? Finding a lovely level of support on this dominant trend line that we've got coming through here. Very nice stuff indeed. Very, very nice stuff indeed. If we are to find a nice level of support on this, that's ideal, right? That's absolutely ideal because we can ride that up, and next target point would be breaking through this higher high point here at around that $7.90 there. But ideally, for this 4 hourly close here, we want to be above this 55. We want to be above this lower high that we got coming through here at $7.70. So that would be like your shorter term target. Worst case scenario, we fall below this 21, we fall below the price action channel, and we lose the support that we've got on this major trend line to the upside that we've got coming through here, right? If we lose support on that, then I would be looking at potentially a target of around this this higher low that we've got coming through here. I would be looking at a target of a bounce around that $6 mark. But obviously, we've got a lot of support to the downside to push us up if we are looking at breaking, right? If we are looking at breaking to the downside, we do have a lot of support to push us up before we get there. But yeah, ideal price target would be over this 55. Would be getting short-term target. I would be looking at that $7.40 mark. Getting over that, getting a nice candle close above that before progressing to the upside. Because as you can see here, we are seeing that reversal in that trend, setting these higher lows in terms of these 4 hourly candles, in terms of this small little uptrend we got going through here, right? That would be Theta pretty summed up. Let me jump to MATIC. Yeah, it was MATIC next, wasn't it? MATIC next, wasn't it? Yep. MATIC, baby. MATIC Polygon. Yeah, so very bullish on MATIC, and obviously we have seen MATIC recover pretty significantly throughout all of this whole panic selling moment, right? All of this uncertainty in this whole bear market situation that we've got going on here, the uncertainty point, whether we're in a bear market, whether we're in a bull market, right? At this point in time, MATIC is just doing insane stuff, recovering to insane points, right? Insane points. So before we even saw that dump, MATIC is literally fully recovered. So that obviously means there's a lot of confidence. There's a lot of confidence in MATIC, and there's a lot of buying potential, and a lot of they've got a lot of backing in terms of supporters. Whether it's just people riding the waves up because they know everyone's really bullish on MATIC and it's doing great things in terms of blockchain technology, then yes, that is a factor as well. But in terms of a target price right now for MATIC, as I said yesterday, we were looking for that curl over, right? We were looking for that curl over because we did see that insane pump, right? That parabolic pump to the upside. I said, look, if we're going to have something like this, we're looking for a consolidation zone before potentially a bounce off the 21 and then that progression to the upside from there. As you can see, we have had that bounce off the 21. We are seeing that progression in that price action, right? In terms of trading MATIC today, this is on the 4 hour, not the daily, right? In terms of trading MATIC today, we would be looking at this candle close above the volume weighted ATR band. And then we're looking at a target price of the previous all-time high close, right? That is ideal. That is ideal target price for MATIC, and it has got the potential to get there. Obviously, on the predication that we do get over this volume weighted ATR band, and that is sat at around that $2.20 to 20 to 30 cent mark, right? If we can get over that, I can see us progressing to the upside, but obviously we do have these lower highs to think about continuously, which we are looking to break, and that is around the same point there. So we are likely to probably see some scurrying around, some resistance there to think about, right? Definitely something to consider. Ideal, before we get to this point here, we would be looking at breaking this this high point here at around that $2.44 mark before seeing some swift rejection. If we do see a swift rejection at that point, as you can see here, we saw that swift rejection there. So we do need to think about a potential resistance point sitting at around this $2.44 zone here, right? As you can see, we do have a lot of downwards momentum from that point. So it's definitely something, in terms of a short-term target, I would be looking to get over this volume weighted ATR band, and then the next target for that would be actually testing this $2.44 mark, right? Definitely something to consider. If we can get higher than that, ideal. As you can see, at this point in time, the last 4 hours or so, the last 8 hours or so, we are seeing that insane surge of buying power to the upside. In terms of percents for that, in terms of coming down from testing that 21, we are still looking at a 20% gain for MATIC. Very, very juicy, very nice indeed. And at this point in time, on my top 50 cryptos, I can see literally like 2 or 3 that are, I think there's 3 of them that are currently green at the moment. And MATIC is usually one of them, and it is technically, well, it is at 1% at this point in time, right? So very nice stuff indeed. Obviously going back to the start of the day from where we were, up 1% from there, right? What was nice. What was yeah, nice one. No worries, Tom. What was next on that? It was XMR. I do like XMR. Very bullish on XMR. In terms of XMR in general, right? I did hear about XMR quite a while ago. I did read an article, right? I read an article, and it basically said because obviously Bitcoin was first sort of established on the black market, around the dark net. With all the naughty stuff going on there, right? But yeah, I read an article saying Monero which is XMR, is the next coin to basically be established on the dark net. And this was when it was around, I think it was like $80 to $100, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to invest in that. Obviously, I don't use the dark net, but yeah, I was there like, I'm going to invest in that. If Bitcoin got established on there, XMR is going to have some establishment on there, and it's an altcoin with an actual use, right? So I got in early, got in nice, and then we just saw progressionary to the upside. Very, very nice indeed. Very excited when we get into this level here. I think I sold off around this point here, hitting this lower high point here, before the colossal dump to the downside, right? Can't believe we got all the way down to 124 there. Can't believe we got all the way down to 124 there. But as I said before, very, very bullish on Monero. I do think we have got an insane gain to see there. In terms of market cap, in terms of price action here, I do think we are going to come up pretty high indeed once we break this pretty dominant channel on the daily, right? Once we break this pretty dominant channel on the daily. In terms of measure moves for that right now, we would be going from, I'd probably go from this point here to this point here, because that's obviously the previous really dominant trend. This one here is pretty fizzled out, right? It's pretty fizzled out. So if you are going to be looking at a measure move, it's going to be a pretty messy measure move from there to here, right? It's not going to be very nice indeed. As you can see, it's pretty much horizontal there. So we would be looking at something along the lines of this. Not that big, but not that. But from what we're at now, 256. Look at that. We would be getting all the way up to 500 and 600 mark, right? That's the kind of the end target at this point for Monero itself, right? But I do think if you want to check them out on CoinMarketCap, they do have a pretty low supply, right? They do have a pretty low supply, which is an indication we do have extreme upside potential for them indeed, right? At this point in time, waffling on a bit there about Monero, guys. At this point in time, we did see this lowest point at 124. We have seen these lower. I feel I'm betraying Hamilton. Good stuff, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Smash that like button if you're liking the stream. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. But yeah, at this point in time with Monero, we are progressing to the upside. We are seeing these higher lows forming here. We are finding a nice level of support on this 200 moving average, right? We have come down today. We've come down today. We have tested it. We have seen that bounce to the upside. In terms of the percent for all that bounce to the upside at this point in time, it's still very, very nice. It's still a nice 5% bounce, which shows there's confidence in Monero. There is nice stuff going on here. Hello, NX. The prices are cut off on the right. Oh, they're cut off again. Oh, for God's sake. Thank you very much, NX. Helps me out a lot. Guys, if you ever see that and obviously you want to see the price, I think I corrected it on my other charts, but yeah, obviously didn't say it today. My mistake. Things are being a new streamer, right? Miss stuff like that. Imagine the other day I streamed for literally like 25 minutes and I forgot to turn my audio on. How embarrassing, right? But yeah, can't get any worse than that. But yeah, thanks very much, NX. Helps me out a lot and obviously helps out all the viewers there for you guys there. As you can see here, we did, going back to the Monero here, we did see that bounce up. We did see that 5% bounce from that 200 moving average here. Next target price, I would be looking at breaking this higher high point in terms of this uptrend here that we've got going on, and that is at around that 275 mark. Ideally, we want to be seeing a break of that, a candle close above that, setting that higher high here, setting that point for that challenge at this resistance, horizontal resistance line at 281. That's the ideal scenario for Monero on the daily. At this point in time, at this point in time, all of these major moving averages coming down here are pretty far away. If we're looking for that 21, we're looking at up around that $300 there. But obviously that's obviously done because we obviously saw insane gains before, right? So we do need to give them a little bit of time to catch up, right? A little bit of time to catch up. But yeah, if we jump to the 4 hour now, and this is obviously all going to be caught up because there's less candles, right? Going to be a lot more going on. There's a lot more going on here. We are currently finding a nice level of support on this 21 moving average here around 256. Currently testing the price action channel. Ideally, you want to find a nice level of support on this price action channel, and you want to be coming to the upside, setting these high highs in terms of this uptrend, right? In terms to do that, you need to find support on this price action channel. So in terms of the 4 hourly close, I would be looking at a nice 259, 260 mark. And then we're going to see that progression to the upside. Obviously, we are setting these high lows here, which is good stuff, very good stuff indeed. But yeah, ideally, you want to keep doing that and keep riding that wave up until you hit this 55. Potentially going to find some resistance off the 55, have a consolidation period around this point, and then probably potentially a bounce from there, ideally, right? Ideally, obviously on the predication of what Bitcoin's going to do, because obviously that leads the market. Need I say anymore? If we are to lose this 21 moving average, which we're currently finding a nice level of support on, I'd say target point. We do have this monthly pivot point at around this 236, so that we could see a little bit of a bounce point from there, as we have seen previously here. And we've seen the skir around here and the skir around here. So it's definitely something to think about. In terms of the low point, we do have this horizontal low point at this point, horizontal level of support at this low point at 210, and obviously correlating perfectly with the volume weighted ATR band. If we are to fall off a cliff here and see that trend reversal, I mean, in terms of higher highs that were being set, right, obviously from this bounce point at the bottom here, in terms of higher highs that were being set, they were pretty steep, they were pretty good indeed, and we are seeing a bit of a fizzle out, right? It's a bit of a fizzle out, so that basically indicates that the trend might be coming to an end, and we could be seeing a bit of a curl out, setting these lower highs continuously, maybe coming down to this point at this point. So it's definitely something to take into consideration when trading Monero. In terms of what's happening on the RSI right now, we do have this downward sloping resistance line coming through here. So we do need to think about that if we are going to come down in price, because we could be looking at a nice level of support here at around the 40, around the 40 mark on the RSI there. So if we are going to lose this 21, that pretty much correlates perfectly with a nice potential bounce off this monthly pivot point. So potential long position there, obviously managing the bounce on the RSI in terms of buying power, because if we are to see us come through there, we are going to be oversold, and that could initiate a potential bounce a bit lower, right? Potential bounce a bit lower. And as you can see here, we did see an insane amount of selling power here, right? This last amount of selling power that we saw on the 4 hourly, it didn't even get us oversold, right? And we did see that bounce, right? So it's definitely something to consider if we are to get to this 34K mark, because we could see that bounce like we did see here, right? But obviously we do need to take into consideration, we do have the volume weighted ATR band coming through here, and these horizontal levels of support. So we could be looking at a potential bounce point from here, ideal for a long position, right? Because you've obviously got a few factors factoring yourself in there, right? In terms of the MACD right now, the uptrend's pretty much fizzling out, right? It's pretty fizzling out. We're looking for that bearish crossover on the MACD here, and we don't have exact confirmation, right? There's no exact confirmation that we do have a downtrend cycle, a level of support on the downtrend cycle here to think about, because obviously that's pretty flaccid indeed. That's pretty it's not great, right? This is not great in terms of a downtrend, in terms of drawing some sort of trend line from there, right? So we would be looking at something along the lines of this, right? And that's basically an indication that we need to manage the next downtrend that we're seeing, right? If we see a next downtrend, and we need to basically measure up this trend line wherever that is going to fall, right, to basically determine the next trend cycle. And when we have that next downtrend, we're likely to respect this zone, right? We're likely to respect this support point. So crucial point, when we do see this bearish crossover, when we do see that downwards fall in the price. But yeah, target point target points right now for Monero, I would be looking at closing above this price action channel at that 258 zone. Very nice indeed. And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously, right? Turn that thumbs up blue, as they say, right? Very, very nice indeed. Yeah, what was next on the request list? And guys, if you've got requests, dump them in the chat there. Dump them in the chat, and I will jump across altcoin to altcoin doing TA for you guys. Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. What did I see that was next? Got to coordinate with both of you. Can't do both. Yeah, we did Monero. That was the last request on the list. Let me just, if there's no one's putting in requests, I'm going to jump to BNB, right? I'm going to jump to BNB. We're going to jump on the daily. As you can see here, we are setting these high lows continuously for BNB, right? We've seen that insane surge of buying power to the upside from this daily open, right? From this daily open at the bottom here. Oh, sorry, no, we opened at the top here, right? We have seen this insane wick to the downside here, and that's in terms of percent for that buying power, right? Tom, 88, I'll be jumping on that straight after BNB. We're seeing like 7 or 8% gain on the daily, right, in terms of that buying power to the upside. Ideal scenario right now for BNB would be to get over this high in terms of this uptrend here. That would be basically be ideal. Next target point for that would be these lower highs to get over in terms of that horizontal resistance line at 412 there. Definitely something to consider in terms of a target price for BNB. But it looks pretty good in terms of buying power, right? We have got these high lows coming through, and this this sell off that we had here, it's not indicated that we have that we haven't set a lower point on the downtrend here on the BNB, right? Just losing my words for a second. Let me just have some water. We have actually set a higher low point, right? A higher low point, which basically is an indication that the trend is going to continue to the upside, right? Very nice indeed. But in order to see that insane confirmation, we do need that higher high point on the daily, right? Definitely something to think about when trading BNB, right? At this point in time for BNB, we are currently, we do have this, we do have a dominant trend line coming through here, and potentially another trend line coming through around this point, right? So it's looking pretty channel-like, right? Looking pretty like a channel to the upside here. So we have actually found a nice level of support on this 21 moving average and this trend line to the upside here, right? Next testing point would be this 55 moving average, potentially testing up this lower high point that we have set on this mini downtrend that we've got coming through on this rising price channel here, right? So we do need to basically break this point, find a nice little support on this 55 to basically get that confirmation of the continuation up. If we're not going to, I would be looking at a rejection from the 55 coming down, testing this price action channel here, not the price action channel, yeah, potentially testing the price action channel here, or this this trend line, the lower point of this rising channel here. So target price, I would be looking at getting over around that 379 mark for the midterm for BNB there. Definitely something to think about. If we are to see that swift rejection, I can see a nice level of support here around this 259, 260 zone, where we're kind of basically at now, because obviously it's not going to be like bang bang, right? It's going to be like nice fizzle out, see some nice support here. No, sorry, see some nice resistance here if we are to see resistance, and then come back down to that point. And that's obviously going to give time for this trend line to basically move to the upside and create a level of support higher than it would be if we dump down to there now, right? If we are going to lose the momentum in terms of buying power that we're at now, we do have the price action channel supporting us. We do have the 21 moving average coming up as well supporting us. So that's a few levels of support that we are looking for to hold the line for us there, basically, in terms of before we dump to the downside. If we are going to dump to the downside and we are going to lose this channel that we've got going on here, measure move wise in terms of a short position, I would be looking at something along the lines of this, obviously on the predication that we do lose the 21 and the price action channel and this rising price channel that we got going on here. In terms of percentage for that short position, it's looking pretty, it's juicy. It's like a 12% trade rate, 12% trade there, near enough. Very, very nice indeed. Definitely something to consider. And at this point in time, on the midterm, we don't have any major support points to think about in terms of if we do get into this short position. So that's very nice indeed. Let me reference the RSI here, because obviously we do have this downward slope and resistance line coming through from the top here, which is, as you can see, pretty heavily respected, right? It's pretty heavily respected, so we do need to think about that, right? If we do lose that, I can see us losing losing the 21, losing the price action channel, losing the major trend line that we've got coming through here for this rising price channel, and that could basically indicate that we are going to be looking at a nice short position, because obviously we are going to see the resistance to the downside in terms of selling power from this line, right? Very good stuff in terms of a position there, looking very healthy indeed, right? Let's go to the MACD and see if we can see any other crucial signs? Any other crucial signs? We can see an uptrend fizzling out, basically looking for that bearish crossover, looking for that switcheroo, looking for that switch. And also, obviously, as I said on that previous chart that we just saw, we are looking for that dominant trend cycle point where we're going to set the next set the next higher low point here on the old MACD, right? It could be horizontal, right? Don't count your chickens. Don't count your chickens. It could be horizontal, right? Or it could be pretty steep indeed. We just need to see how we plan out, see how this bearish crossover goes, see this downward selling pressure, obviously managing the RSI and the price action channel. The price action, the live price action as we're going, right? So potential short position there to think about, guys. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just my opinions on what I think is going to happen in the market and a bit of an educational standpoint for you guys to think about some potential positions for yourselves, right? Let me jump to going to be strong, I'd say. Yeah, I hope it is, bro. I hope it is, as long as we can get over this lower high point. And obviously, if we can find a nice little support on this 55, that would be ideal. Next target point would be the top side of this rising price channel here at around this 408. But as I said before, I am pretty bullish on BNB in the long term, right? Because they've got some insane technology going through in terms of blockchain stuff, and they just, in my opinion, 10 times better than Ethereum, right? Because we've all seen the Ethereum fees. Blech, not very nice at all. We don't like that. We need them to sort their stuff out in a sense, right? Let me jump to ADA for Tom there. ADA for Tom. You can see the prices, right? Yeah, you can see the prices. The mic is in the way of the lower ones, but you can see the prices. Yeah, let's jump to the daily for ADA here. We're nearly hitting an hour, guys. When we hit an hour, I'm going to jump for a 2-minute break there. Too much H2O. I am going to jump for a 2-minute break there. But I'll be back pretty shortly indeed. So rest assured, guys, and thank you for tuning into the stream. And if you are enjoying the stream, hit that thumbs up button. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue, right? And I do stream every single day. Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. Guys, if you want to do this with me every single day, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? At this point in time for ADA, we're finding a nice level of support on this crucial volume-weighted ATR band coming through, right? It's nice, as you can see here, we do find a nice level of support on this volume-weighted ATR band, which is absolutely crucial right now. We have smashed through it. We've tested it. We've retraced to the upside very, very nice indeed, and that basically shows that we have a nice amount of buying power to the upside, setting these higher lows continuously. Very, very healthy in terms of ADA for the daily right now. Pretty bullish on ADA, but right now we do need to get over this crucial point, right? This crucial point, this horizontal level of resistance at 1.79. That would be the target for the day, pretty much 8 cents away. Nothing too crazy for ADA, as we have seen ADA have some pretty insane surges in the past, right? And I know a lot of people are bullish on ADA. If you want to do some research on ADA, have a search on YouTube for Cardano Africa, and they've got a great video on there for what they're planning to do for the future, right? And that's one of the insane reasons that I am pretty bullish on ADA, right? But yeah, in short-term target price, in short-term daily targets, I would be looking at getting over this horizontal resistance point at 1.79, right? And obviously we do have all these major moving averages coming through at the bottom side, which we're above. Nice level of support all the way up, looking very bullish indeed, right? Let's jump to the 4-hour right now for ADA. 4-hour for ADA. Hit that bell. Yes, sir. Yes, SkyDemax. Hit that bell, sir. Yeah, yeah, you're a sir on your picture, right? Yeah, so right now, as you can see, we are finding a nice level of support on these major moving averages. But as you can also see here, they're called up, right? They're pretty called up here. So we do need to think about that, because if they're called up, we're looking at that bounce, right? We're looking at that bounce to the upside. We haven't quite seen the death cross from the 55 coming through to the 200 there. Near enough coming there, but not quite there. So it's an indication that we are going to have that continuation to the upside, and we're going to see this this downtrend that we've got going through here having that reversal, right? Having that reversal. We are setting continuous high lows to the upside, which is very nice for the 4-hour to see. We do need to get over this point here, which is this lower high point here on this candle here. We do need to get over that. That would be ideal, that 174 mark. In terms of a shorter term target, right? In terms of a shorter term target, 174 mark. But as I said, daily target, we're looking for this, right? This 179, looking for that, and we are likely to find some pretty heavy resistance off that as well, because as I said on a lot of the charts yesterday, this is the lower high point. This is the lower high point on a lot of the charts for that massive downtrend that we saw, that massive panic sell that we saw there, and it's crucial. It's crucial. It's crucial indeed that we get over this point, right? Very, very crucial indeed. We get over this point at around that $1.86 mark, because if we don't, we're looking at that pretty swift trend reversal and that, in a sense, confirmation of this bear market coming through for Bitcoin, right? which basically means we're going to basically have that swift rejection from the bull market value that we've got coming through here, this blue and this red here. And if we do see that, we are going to be looking at that progression to the downside. Obviously not that low, right? Obviously not that low. Probably sitting around this 30k mark and having a skirt around there before deciding what we're going to do, creating that confidence in the market to hopefully switch back to a bull market pretty imminently. But yeah, that is obviously pretty crucial on all of the charts here in terms of crypto, because if we don't get over this level, we are going to see that heavy resistance from there. As you can see, when we first had that massive downswing, right? That first massive downswing, that first massive sell-off, the lowest low point for this downtrend on ADA here, we did see that ADA hit nearly $1, like absolutely crazy, right? We have seen that insane buying power to the upside from there, but the reason why I say it is because you can see the resistance we have off this point, right? It's huge, right? It's absolutely huge. The resistance we have off this point is insanely crucial in terms of percent, right? That just creates some insane selling power, literally like 40% for crypto. Not very good indeed, sorry, for ADA. Not very good indeed. So that's why I'm saying it is crucial, because if we do hit this point and we do see some mad correction from there, not good, right? It's not good. Not good indeed. It's basically going to signal that we are going to potentially scur around this area for a lot longer than any of us want, right? We want to see that bull market come back. We want to see that retracement. We want to see those gains, right? If we are to get over this point for ADA at that $1.85 mark, I would be looking at a target for this volume weighted ATR band at $2.33. That'd be very, very nice indeed for ADA. But yeah, if you're seriously bullish on ADA, I would be looking at some sort of accumulation point, and I would have been accumulating literally all the way up here. Even though it's bear market territory, I would have been accumulating ADA just because of in the long run, right? In the long run, 5 to 10 years for ADA, this is just insanely underpriced, right? Do some research on Cardano Africa if you don't know, but they could basically be like colonizing the financial things of Africa. It's just insane, right? Absolutely insane. So we could be seeing some absolutely insane surges for ADA there. Potential huge percentages, right? That's pretty much ADA summed up in terms of target price. I would be looking at $1.79 there. If we are to lose these major moving averages here coming down on the downside, ideally we have just had a bounce on the 55 here. We are looking at potential bounce on this 200 moving average here if we are to come down, because obviously that is dominant and we do see that buying power from there, right? So we are looking at potential bounce from there if we are to come down. But obviously, in terms of us coming down, we are going to have to lose the 55, the 21, and the price action channel there. Definitely something to consider. Lowest point I can see us hitting, is this this high-low point that we formed on the way up here. Ideally, this is going to be another high low, and we are going to progress to the upside from there. That's the ideal scenario. But if we are to lose this high low as well, I would be looking at a target of here, or we do have this horizontal support level at this $1.50 here, right? Definitely something to consider when trading ADA. In terms of the RSI right now for ADA, we do actually have this downward sloping resistance line. We have a downward sloping resistance line on the RSI, which, to be honest, I hate to say it, it's heavily respected, right? Heavily respected in terms of selling power, right? You can see the absolute sell-offs, right? The absolute sell-offs as soon as we see the resistance from this line. So it's potential. There is potential, I hate to say it. If we do come up and we do test this lower high point in terms of that downtrend, it's likely we are to see some insane rejection, right? Insane correction, which is an indication that the price could be coming down somewhere around this 200 moving average zone once we've tested this point up here. In terms of a correction for that, we would be looking at something around 14-15%, right? And I don't want to say it, but it is healthy, right? It is healthy because obviously we have seen this insane buying power to the upside, right? So it is healthy for a correction of that once we've just seen some sort of pump looking like around 60-70%, right? So we do need that sort of correction because it's nothing compared to this insane pump to the upside which we've just had, right? So definitely something to think about when managing your position and managing ADA in general, because if we do see a rejection from this point here, then it's not looking good. It's not looking good indeed. We are going to see that retracement coming through pretty swiftly, as I've just said, in terms of the evidence on the RSI for the midterm for ADA. In terms of the MACD, what's going on now, we are looking for a bearish crossover as these two moving averages are coming through here. The uptrend is fizzling out, right? The uptrend is fizzling out, and that's an indication that we are going to see some sort of downtrend forming, that bearish crossover happening, and then potentially is another indication that we are going to come down to this 200 moving average as well, right? Obviously, we don't know how low this trend is going to go. I can't see us breaking this lower low point at this 0.06 mark. I can potentially see this trend here being basically a fizzle out trend and not being God, I need a new mouse. Got a great mouse, it's just sticking at the moment. I need some WD-40 or something. But yeah, I can't see this. I can see this trend being a bit of a flaccid fizzle out, right? I can't see it basically acting as a level to draw a trend line on. So we would be looking for that next level of support to be formed and basically it's basically going to give us an indication of what's going to happen. It's going to give us an indication of what's going to happen in terms of downtrends for the future for ADA on the midterm, right? That's kind of ADA summed up, guys. What was next? Oh no, we've hit an hour and 6 minutes, guys. I am going to shoot for a quick break, but I'll be back in 2 minutes. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, yes, I will do OGN afterwards. Sam, nice to see you. I think you were here yesterday. Yeah, I would do OGN afterwards, after my break. I'm just going to shoot for a quick break for 2 minutes. But yeah, rest assured, I will be back pretty shortly indeed. And guys, if you're enjoying the stream, smash that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously, right? Obviously need to get on these YouTube algos. It's pretty hard being a new streamer and all that. But yeah, I will see you guys in 2 to 3 minutes time. Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and I'll be walking you through the crypto markets. As you can see, I just want to do a quick brief on Bitcoin coming back from that 2-minute break there. Thank you to everyone stick around. So we had some impatient people. We lost 3 viewers there. Crazy stuff there. But as I went to the toilet, right, as I went for that little break there, we saw Bitcoin pump, right? Bitcoin had just cleared that 39K zone. Very cool stuff happening there for Bitcoin. We are seeing that nice level of support on this rising wave that we've got coming through here. Very nice indeed in terms of upwards buying pressure to start this hourly candle on the short term, right? Targets right now for Bitcoin, I would be looking at this 200 zone, this 200 moving average in terms of a bounce from that 39,449 point, right? 39,449 point. If we can find a nice level of support on that, I would be looking at challenging this horizontal level of resistance at 39,500. Pretty crucial points here to get over. I would like to see us smash that in terms of support and progress to the upside. Next target would be this higher high point of this previous trend that we've just had going through here. And that is, obviously, it's the close, and that is around that 40K mark. Very interesting stuff. And obviously, the next target from there is going to be... Your BRB music must be dead, man. 5. I couldn't all live my BTC with that bet. I'm not too sure, man. It's just Just some uncopyrighted music. But yeah, in terms of target price, if we can get over this horizontal resistance point here and this 200 moving average here, it is looking at around that 40,500 zone for Bitcoin. Very nice indeed. We are seeing that upswing, but we do need to clear this lower high point that is formed in this downtrend, right? We do need to clear this point before we even think about testing this 200. It might correlate perfectly, but that is around 39,266. So I would expect some level of resistance there, if not a swift rejection, right? Definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin. And that's pretty much a summary on Bitcoin for the short term right now. Long term, I mean, mid term, it's not really going to have changed. We have come up. We've near enough claimed this 10 moving average coming through here. But yeah, next target is that 55 at that 39,700. And the long term, pretty much the same. We have claimed that 10 moving average on the daily there, and we're still holding it. We're still holding our own, right? What did I say I'd do next? It was VET. It was VET, and then I'll do MATIC, and then I'll do OGN for Sam, and then Coty for Harshit. What was that one? VET, yeah, VeChain, baby. Let's do a bit of VeChaining, guys. If you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously, right? I know I say that a lot, but I do need to get on these YouTube algos. They're really, really hard to get on. I did spend like a week streaming to literally like no one. So yeah, I do really appreciate you guys being here as well. At this point in time for VeChain, right? It's not looking bad at all. We're setting these high lows coming through. And unlike a lot of the charts, right? Unlike a lot of the other charts, we are already testing this lower high point, right? This lower high point that we've got coming through here from this insane sell-off power, which we all know about, right? We're testing that point here. If we can get over that, then that is absolutely crucial for VeChain for looking a lot more bullish to the upside. If we can get over that, next target would be the 55 moving average and the 21 here, and that's set at around 14 to 15 cents there. If we can find a nice level of support on that, I would be looking at probably a swift rejection from this volume weighted ATR band, because that does hold a lot of resistance and support if you're looking at it from the other side, and that is around $16 to $17. That's 16 cents to 17 cents there, right? But this point right now is crucial. We could see a swift rejection. If we're going to see a swift rejection, the next target on the daily to the downside would be that 9 cents, which for me, it's insanely cheap for VeChain, right? It's insanely cheap for VeChain. I do think VeChain has a lot of good stuff happening over in Asia, and they do have a lot of things coming, right? A lot of things coming for VeChain. So yeah, potential for insane upwards momentum from there when all that stuff comes through, right? Yeah, if you don't know about that, do a bit of VeChain searching. VeChain searching, very, very cool stuff going on there. But yeah, crucial point here is this horizontal resistance point to smash through these lower highs, right? To smash through these lower highs, setting those higher highs in those trends is absolutely crucial, right? Setting those higher highs in this trend, setting these higher lows continuously, that's what we want, right? This is what we want. So yeah, crucial point to watch on VeChain is this horizontal point at that $12.09, right? Let's jump to the 4 hourly, see what's going on for the 4 hourly here. I mean, it's the same sort of scenario, but we are finding a nice level of support on the 55 moving average for the 4 hour. We do need to smash this level of resistance here, right? This level of resistance, which we're currently near enough testing, and that is around this 12 cents here. So ideally, I would like to see us get over that pretty soon. If not, then we would be looking at a swift rejection potentially coming down to this lower high here at this 21 moving average at around 12, just under 12 cents there. So just around 0.008. I don't know if it's cent or p or what, but in terms of a drop, that's how much it would be in terms of percent. If we do see that resistance, we were looking at a nice 7% there. Crazy stuff there. Potential trade, right? Potential trade if you see a nice level of resistance there. But yeah, manage your position accordingly. At this point in time, we are seeing a nice bounce on this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here. We're finding a nice level of support on it, right? Which is very good indeed in terms of buying power for VeChain. So that's an indication, right? That's an indication that we are coming up and we're going to smash through this here. We're going to smash through this lower high, which, as I said a second ago, crucial, absolutely crucial for VeChain and for all the charts. We do need to get through that. And at this point in time, it's looking like we are going to have that buying momentum to the upside. We've seen that level of support on this trend line coming down on the RSI here. So it's looking like we're going to bounce. We're going to see that buying momentum. We're going to smash through this point. Next target point for VeChain, I must say here, is this 200 moving average at around this 15 cents here. Horizontal level of resistance to break through is 16 cents there. So those are your targets. If we can break over this level here at that 13 cents 6, ideally on this close of this lower high coming through here, right? In terms of the MACD, right? We're looking at a bearish crossover yet again on most of the charts. We're looking at that bearish crossover coming through pretty soon. And like I said a second ago, on like most of the charts are the same, right? In terms of the midterm right now, we're looking for that downtrend cycle to see where that's going to basically fall, right? But as you can see, we are losing momentum in terms of the uptrend here. So that's basically an initiation that we are going to see a bearish crossover pretty imminently, probably scurrying down, potentially coming down to this 21. And if that is to happen, we are going to see another test on the RSI here in terms of this downward sloping support line that we've got coming through here, as you can see. Yeah, so we are looking at a potential another test of that and a bounce up from that if we can find support. And if we don't find support on it, I would see a downwards target potentially of this this high low that we got coming through here at around this 10-cent mark. I can see that being a bounce point. Oh, that's wrong. I can see that being a bounce point for VeChain here. So potential accumulation point there to think about, right? Definitely something to think about with VeChain. Very exciting with what's going to happen here. So yeah, managing the price action at this point, it would be crucial that we bounce to the upside from here. Start testing this 200 zone. This 200 moving average here, and finding a nice little support on the RSI, guys. But yeah, that's pretty much VeChain summed up. In terms of targets, yeah, we do need to get over this point as just stated, right? That is VeChain. Let me jump back to MATIC for Dan there. I'll jump back to MATIC for Dan there. MATIC it's behaving abnormally. It's behaving abnormally. No, but MATIC is actually, it's not too bad, right? We're seeing that upwards momentum to the upside continuously. We are seeing these high lows get continuously set, right? High lows getting continuously set. Crucial point for MATIC right now. We did see that bounce off that 21 pretty recently, right? Pretty recently, just early this morning for me. 1 o'clock in the morning, we did see that bounce on this 21 moving average for MATIC here on the midterm. Crucial point right now, we're looking at getting over this volume weighted ATR band. If we can get over this volume weighted ATR band, that is going to be crucial, right? We are going to see a nice level of support there, potentially coming up and testing this level of $2.56 for MATIC. And as we all know, right, we do have a lot of upwards momentum for MATIC. A lot of upwards momentum for MATIC. It's been shocking quite a few people, right? It's pretty insane, right? And what happened last night, it's not bad. It's not bad because we need a retracement like this, 17% retracement for MATIC. We need a retracement like this when we're getting pumps like this, right? When we're getting pumps like this, 38%, we need some sort of retracement, right? Otherwise, it's not healthy, right? That should probably go down to there, like literally like 50% for MATIC there. So we do need retracements like this to get that progression we move to the upside. We need that consolidation retracement zone. Otherwise, we're just going to go parabolic, right? If we go parabolic, we're going to see insane resistance and an insane crash to the downside, right? So that's definitely something to think about when a chart is doing this. It's not the end of the world. Don't lose hope and sell your MATIC there. Even though we are dumping down 17% in the price, it's just a small correction to basically reference what we've done here, to basically reference and make it valid. Otherwise, we are going to see that insane correction to the downside. But as you can see, we have corrected. We have seen that buying power to the downside, bouncing off this 21 here, coming up to this volume weighted ATR band, and seeing a near enough 18% gain for MATIC there. Very, very nice indeed. Obviously, on the daily open, we are still up only literally like not even 1% there. So we are pretty much break even for MATIC in terms of the daily, but we have recovered significantly from when we did go negative, right? Pretty, in a sense, V-shaped recovery, right? Pretty bangs it to the moon. When to buy MATIC? I mean, to be honest with you, I can see a correction point coming out at this all-time high, right? If I'd be managing a position, I'd be managing itself, managing the price action if we do see some resistance here at this $2.50. What up, bro? At this $2.50 mark, Hamilton raid. Woo! Hello for everyone from Bitcoin Beats. Yeah, we are potentially going to see some resistance at this all-time high close point for MATIC there. So I would be looking at potential pullback from there. At this point in time, if you were going to be looking at getting in MATIC, I would have potentially got in on this bounce on this 21 here. So I think you are a little bit late to the party in terms of seeing this 18% recovery there for MATIC. And that is obviously on the midterm there. In terms of the long-term hodl, I would be looking at a pullback from the previous all-time high here, previous all-time high close, or potentially finding some resistance off this major trend line that we got coming up here, and that could potentially be at $3 because, like, obviously MATIC is going up pretty significantly, but we're not just going to keep going up, right? We are going to see these retracements coming through. And that is still a 17% retracement. So every time you see some sort of retracement like that, for me personally, I would be accumulating because obviously we are seeing that buying strength with MATIC there. Every time you're seeing those retracements coming through here, something along the lines of this, right? You are seeing these pretty key accumulation points, right? So you are pretty much retracing 20% each time. So if you're accumulating each time and then it is going up continuously from there, obviously on the basis that Bitcoin is going to go up and we're not going to see this insane crash coming through down here, right? I mean, they're pretty good accumulation zones, but target points to watch out for at this point in time, for the live price for MATIC right now would be to get over this volume weighted ATR and find a nice level of support on there, and that is at $2.26. Definitely something to look out for. If we are to lose that, if we are to find the resistance, I can see us coming down and testing this 21 moving average here at this $1.91. Definitely something to think about, and it could be a potential accumulation point if we are to find a nice level of support on there for MATIC, right? Ham sent me over. I really like what I'm hearing. Don't know what to buy into. Hello, everyone from Bitcoin Beats. Very nice to have you here. Guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up, turn that notification blue. No, turn that notification blue. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, trying to get on the YouTube algos is pretty hard in this day and age. Obviously, only been streaming for around 2 weeks. So yeah, I would appreciate all your guys' support. If you could do that, that would help me out tremendously, right? What is the next coin that I agreed to do? I think it was OGN. Yeah, OGN for Sam there. OGN. Origin Protocol. Yeah, Origin Protocol that we got coming through here. As discussed yesterday, I think we did discuss this. We did see that insane pump to the upside, right? Insane pumps to the upside for OGN there, which was... It was very, very good to see, right? We did need to see that in terms of a swift recovery, because in terms of what was happening in terms of this altcoin, it was pretty flaccid, right? It was pretty flaccid. People are like, is it going to recover? Probably not. But then we did see that insane buying power to the upside, right? Insane buying power to the upside. Very, very nice indeed. And that's why I was requested it yesterday. I do actually hodl this coin myself, and down here was a great accumulation point. If you look at the technology that they're coming out with in terms of blockchain technology and stuff, very, very great potential altcoin in terms of massive gains for the future, right? Very, very nice stuff indeed. At this point in time, you can see that near enough parabolic pump up, there that we're seeing in the price action. So what's happening now? This consolidation correction point. These flip overs in these trends here, that is basically, it's healthy, right? It's healthy. We need that for a healthy chart, right? We're not just going to continue on parabolic, otherwise we're going to see insane corrections from there. Probably not that low, but insane corrections from there. So this is absolutely fine, right? This is absolutely fine. In terms of targets right now, what we're looking for Origin Protocol, we're looking to get over this 200 moving average, right? To find a nice level of support there and test this horizontal level of resistance at $1.28, right? And that is for the 2 hours and 38 minutes, right? If we can get a nice close above that for the 4 hour and find a nice level of support there, our next target would be this point here, this lower high point here at this $1.34. If we can find a nice level of support there, our next target would be this point here. It's horizontal level resistance at $1.44. Can I see us getting there? Potentially, yes, I can. Obviously, we have seen a mad surge in buying power recently for OGN here, and we have seen a nice consolidation period. So when we have this consolidation period here, we're looking for that next leg up, right? We're looking for the next leg up, and obviously with this buying power, these horizontal resistance levels could easily be taken out. In terms of the top side, I would be looking at a potential resistance point, seeing this volume weighted ATR band at $1.87. So that's definitely something to consider. And as you can see here, we do like to tend to find support on it, right? If we find resistance on it here. If we find some resistance on it here, that's very good indeed. If we don't find resistance on it, we're going to break through it, right? And then we're going to find a nice level of support. And we're basically going to ride it all the way up, right? We're going to ride it all the way up until we break it again, right? Very, very nice indeed. So this is where I'd look at potential, if we are to break it to the upside, we're looking at potential long, right? Potential long position, potentially even up to this horizontal resistance point at $2.15. Very nice indeed in terms of a trade for that. It would be looking... let me get the price range. It would be looking at something along the lines of that. Very nice, insane. Very nice, insane. 13% trade there. Just going to have some H2O and I'll be right back. And guys, if you've got any requests, throw them in the chat there, and I will get to them as soon as I'm done with what is next. Coty is next for Harshit, and then ADA for Lethal Mind. That's next, right? Got to get into Chester's stream during the 10 watching now viewers, guys. Buy the dip. Oh, very funny indeed. Yeah, the target point, as I was saying, for OGN here would be this point here at 187 if we are to see that upwards momentum to the upside there, and that's obviously for the 4 hour. But we do have to see us close above this 200 moving average before that and smash through these lower high points that we did previously set on this downtrend here. But obviously you can see we have seen this insane surge of buying power to the upside. So that is confidence, that we do have that confidence right now in OGN, right? Let me jump to what was next? Coty, right? Cody. Never done this, I don't think. I'll jump to the daily to start off with. We can see that buying power, obviously, from this insane dip here, setting those higher lows continuously. We have found a nice level of support on that 200 moving average. Very nice indeed. I'd say target point for the daily would be to get over this higher high point in terms of this uptrend right now, and would be to test this 21 moving average at around that 28 cents there. If we can find a nice level of support on that, I would be looking at a nice test of the price action channel, and that would be sitting at around 31. And obviously, you do have the 55 correlating pretty perfectly with that as well. But in terms of selling power to the downside, if we do see a swift rejection here, and this lower high is to be set on the daily here, I can see a nice potential bounce, as you can see here on the daily, off this 200 here, and finding a nice level of support here before we even think about progressing to the downside. Obviously, it is on predication of what Bitcoin's going to do. So you do need to take that into account as well, because obviously it's the leader, right? She's the leader in the market, right? So yeah, I'd say this 200 moving average here is a very nice level of support, and I can't see us losing that anytime soon. And targets to the upside, I would be looking at this 21 at that 28 cents there, right? In terms of what's happening on the 4 hour right now, we are currently finding a nice level of support on this 55 moving average, on this horizontal level of support at this 24 cent mark. In terms of a target, I would be looking to get over these points here. We do have these lower highs getting set here in terms of this mini downtrend that we got coming through here. So I'm looking along the lines of that, right? We are seeing these lower highs getting set here, so we do need to think about breaking them. In terms of breaking them in short-term targets, I would be looking at 27 cents, right? We're looking at 27-cent target to break. If we can break that and find a nice level of support on that, I'm more inclined to say that we are going to come up and test these crucial levels of resistance here. I am more inclined to say that. But short-term target would be this level here to get over these lower highs, to set these higher highs, to set these higher lows continuously all the way up, to continue that uptrend, right? If we are going to lose the 55, though, on the predication that we are going to lose the 55, and these lower highs are going to start to play out, if we can get a 4 hourly close below this point here, we are going to set another lower high here. I can see us potentially continuing down, potentially testing this horizontal level of support at 0.246 here, and hopefully finding a nice level of support on this 21 moving average that we've got coming down here as well. So I do think there is potential for that as well to think about, right? If obviously on the predication that we do set a lower high on this candle close in 2 hours and 33 minutes time, at this point in time, we are seeing a nice amount of buying power, right? A nice amount of buying power and support from that 55, near enough 3%, right? Near enough live 3% going on there. So I am looking at some progressionary moves to the upside and clearing this point here. That is Coty, definitely something to think about. Let me have a look. What was next? Guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. That would be absolutely brilliant. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. Where are we? ADA was next, wasn't it? ADA. Shmoony. Shmoney. ADA. Right. Let me jump to ADA for you guys there. We're starting the daily, right? We're starting the daily. As you can see, for ADA, we have seen that insane buying power to the upside. We have seen this highest high point being set here, but the next challenge, the next absolute challenge point is where we're near enough at right now, and it is this lower high point, right? It is this lower high point that we have set here in terms of this downtrend that we've got coming through here. We are seeing a heavy level of resistance at this point, right? And as I've said on a lot of the charts, especially this Bitcoin chart here, if we don't see us get over these lower high points here in terms of that downtrend, I would be seeing a swift rejection from there and seeing that resistance to the downside. So if ADA is already up there testing it, that shows that there's a lot more confidence in ADA right now. And a lot of other things, right? Because I know a lot of the charts aren't even up to this point here. We're probably fizzling out around down here. We do potentially have another 10% or something to go on a lot of the other charts. Right now for ADA, we are seeing some resistance there, but we are finding a nice level of support on the daily, on the 21 here, and the volume weighted ATR band here. So that's healthy, right? It's healthy, it's bullish. We need that, and we are setting these higher lows continuously. We didn't fall down. We didn't set a lower low here, a lower high coming through here. If we do close this daily below this high point here on terms of this uptrend here, then it's looking like we are going to have some continuation pattern down. But with that being said, we do have nice levels of support here, so I can't see it being too low, right? Worst case scenario, we lose the volume weighted ATR band and the 21 here, which we currently tested on the daily, and we have a bounce off the 55, potentially a bounce off the horizontal support point here. But obviously on the daily, that's quite a low percentage in terms of a drop, right? And if that is even to happen, right, I can see us coming back up from there pretty easily. As you've seen here, everyone's pretty bullish on ADA, right? They're pretty bullish on ADA. And if you haven't done any research on ADA yourself, go to YouTube, search up Cardano Africa, and it basically explains exactly why I'm bullish on ADA. No, it's their basically promotion video on what they're basically trying to achieve over the next 5 to 10 years and stuff. And I think it's seriously interesting, and it is the reason why I'm very bullish on ADA. But yeah, in terms of the midterm for ADA right now, we are looking at finding a nice level of support on this 55. But as I said a second ago, crucial point is up around here, around that $1.85 mark to watch. But obviously, the short-term goal is to get over this lower high point here, and that is at $1.77, right? Near enough $6-7 away, 6-7 cents away. So yeah, short-term target looking pretty achievable there in terms of the support we're finding on the 55, as we have pumped near enough 5% since then. If we're looking at getting over that, we're looking at around an 8-9% gain in terms of the last it would be in terms of the last 8 hours, in terms of the last 5.5 hours. Right now we are looking at that that pump to the upside, and this being a potential target. If we can see us getting over that, I can see us basically consolidating around this zone before deciding whether we're going to pump to the upside, if we're going to break this zone here. If we don't, I can see us basically coming down, as said on the bigger time frames there. We do have these major levels of support in terms of moving averages here. So potential, if we are going to see some insane amount of resistance here, as you can see, we did see an insane amount of resistance here. I can see basically a bounce off this 200 potentially, or a bounce off this level of support here. I don't see us coming all the way down to this higher low here. Ideally, that would be pretty awful if we did. If we did break this higher low point here at around this $1.45 zone, I would be seeing a reversal in the trend, inversal in the trend in the long term here, and then we would be seeing some progression rate to the downside for ADA. But hey, it's not all bad. Great accumulation points coming through there when we see these retracements. Very, very nice stuff indeed. That's ADA pretty much summed up. In terms of summary, we do need to get over this $1.83, $1.70, 79, 78, $1.80 zone. So yeah, definitely something to think about, right? Definitely something to think about in terms of short-term targets for ADA there. Let me have a little look, guys. Get your requests in the chat. Get them coming through there. What is next? What is next? We did MATIC, we did ADA. Hollow chain. Hollow. Yeah, hollow. It's hot. Start on the daily, right? Start on the daily. As you guys probably know, it is looking pretty much the same on the daily. Looking at this V-shaped recovery is pretty strong, right? Pretty strong. Pretty lot of buying power to the upside on pretty much all the charts. Let me just have some water here. Very, very nice indeed. As you can see, we have been setting these high lows all the way up. We have found a nice level of support on this 200, and we have progressed to the upside. Unfortunately, we're finding a nice level. Well, we're finding a resistance point on this 21 moving average. So definitely something to consider here. Because if we are going to see some sort of swift rejection, bounce point on the daily here would be this 200 moving average from there. So it's definitely something to consider in terms of the daily close right now. In terms of the daily close right now, we are looking at potentially setting a lower high, which isn't good in terms of a trend. We could be looking at that trend reversal, that trend reversal looking something along the lines of this, right? And then potentially progression we move to the upside, potentially bouncing off this point that we've got going on here. Let me get a horizontal line going in there. Yep, potentially a bounce point looking something along the lines of this, right? I mean, in order for that to happen, target point to the downside would be around that 0.008 mark, losing that 1 cent, which we're currently sat at this point in time, right? In terms of progression to the upside, we claim this 21 again on the daily. Ideally we don't want to be setting a lower high here. We want to be setting a higher high in terms of this uptrend here, and we want to be smashing out this price action channel and this 55 moving average, finding a nice level of support on here, and then I can see progression to the upside, and basically coming up, potentially tapping this volume weighted ATR band before coming down and seeing a correction off the monthly pivot line here. So definitely something to consider. In terms of daily targets to the upside. I would be looking to clear this higher high point in terms of this uptrend at around that 0.11 cent mark, right? In terms of the 4 hourly for this altcoin here, right, we are looking at a horizontal resistance point sitting at around 1 cent at 0.5, right? That'd be the next. Oh no, we do have one in there hidden in terms of the live price action there. So we're currently testing this horizontal resistance point at this near enough dead on 1 cent mark, right? Near enough this dead on 1 cent mark. We are seeing a reversal in this trend, which is good indeed in terms of high lows being formed here, but don't count your chickens. We are setting lower highs continuously to the downside here, so that could mean the continuation down, right? If we are going to see a nice break in the price to the upside here, we need to find a nice level of support here and basically clear this lower high to see some sort of trend reversal looking like so, right? That's what I'd be looking for, to see that trend reversal. If we are going to lose that, I would be looking at a bounce point at this 21 moving average here, or this 55 moving average here, or potentially if we do lose them, I can't see us losing them. As you can see, we do find a nice level of support on the 55 there. So if we are to see a bounce from 55, next target would be essentially where we're currently at. But if we are to look at potential wick through the 55 to come down, we are going to be potentially seeing a bounce at the support point of 0.0088 there. Very, very nice indeed. Exciting stuff happening if we can clear this lower high coming through, right? That's pretty much hollow done, right? Let me jump to what was next on the list. We did BNB. Let me do BNB for arthropathic. BNB, baby. Yeah, for BNB, discussed earlier on my stream. I do stream every single morning, guys. 1 to 2 hours every single morning. So if you do want to hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, you're never going to miss one of my streams. You can do this every single morning with me, right? Also, I do altcoin videos. I do emergency crypto updates. So yeah, if you guys want to see more of that, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads, right? As you can see here on BNB right now, we are looking at, I was potentially looking at a short position if we were to break this rising price channel here and see that downwards momentum and losing the 21 here. In terms of the short position for that to happen, if we do see the resistance off this 55 here, if we don't clear this lower high that we got coming through here and find the support on the 55 to the upside here, if we don't do that and we find the resistance, I would be looking at a crucial point here. If we do break this this trend line that we've got coming up here of this rising price channel that we've got coming through, we'll be looking at potential measure move to the downside, right? Potential measure move to the downside, obviously depending on where we're going to break along this channel here, it would be looking something along the lines of this, right? In terms of a percent gain, it would be looking something along the lines of this, a nice potential 11% trade to think about, right? Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just my opinions of what I think might happen in the market. And guys, I'm saying trades and stuff like this so you guys can do your own research and see this yourself and make that crucial decision yourself whether this is a trade you're going to be entering, right? In terms of a take profit position for this trade, I would be looking at this higher low point coming down here. Potentially not completing the measure move, potentially completing the measure move and coming down even a bit further. But remember, we do have these high low points to think about as well. So there could be a nice bouncing point here to think about as well. So that could basically mean it could be it won't be a completion of the measure move there, and we could be looking at taking profit early. But in terms of support that we do have, that we would be breaking in terms of entering a short here, all the major moving averages are at the top here. There's nothing here to stop us in my eyes here, apart from this low point here of this trend reversal. So we would be looking at potentially taking 50% profit around this point. And then if we can ride lower than that, or we see trend reversal, then we manage our position accordingly like that, right? That's just a little insight into BNB there and what could potentially happen if we are to see that rejection off the 55. If we're not to see the rejection off the 55 and we're looking for that level of support here on the 55 moving average and we're looking at breaking this lower high point that we've got going through here, I would be looking at that progression to the upside, right? Progression to the upside. In terms of a target, we do have these lower highs coming through in terms of that major trend, major downtrend that we saw there. These lower highs, it's very, very crucial we break these lower highs. I can't stress that enough, guys. It's very crucial we break these lower highs because, as you can see here, at the start of this insane downtrend, insane sell-off, panic sell-off that we had here, right? We did see this recovery, right? We did see this recovery, and we saw heavy resistance on this point, right? Heavy resistance on the point, basically causing us to set lower lows continuously, right? Causing us to set lower lows continuously. So if we're not going to break this point here, if we're not going to find a nice level of support here, we could be finding some seriously heavy resistance, right? Some seriously heavy resistance. So this is a seriously crucial, I can't stress this enough, it's a seriously crucial point for us to watch. In terms of all the charts, not just BNB itself, right? Because they're all looking pretty much similar, right? This is pretty much a crucial point to watch. So I would be looking at around this 412 mark to find some sort of resistance there. If best case scenario, we find resistance, right? And we bounce off this 55, and when we have the progression to the upside and we challenge this level of support, this level of resistance at 430 there, potentially coming up to the 200. That's ideal scenarios, right? In terms of the continuation of price action to the top side. Worst case scenario, as I said, we are looking at a measure move to the downside, potential bounce, potentially ruining this high low here, and potential bounce point off this volume weighted ATR band here. Potential long position coming in through if we do find a nice level of support on this volume weighted ATR band here. Right now on the RSI, we've got this downward sloping resistance line coming down from this point here. And we are currently scurrying around. We're testing this point here. We're testing this point, deciding whether we're going to find the resistance of it and come down to the downside and having that sell power. If that is the case, then it is going to basically be more inclined for a short position to the downside in terms of that measure move, which I was just talking about. That would be very, very nice indeed in terms of that trade. In terms of like a 12% trade, very, very nice indeed, I think it was. But if we are to find a nice level of support here, it is likely that we are, because we are to the top side of it right now. If we are to find a nice level of support here, we could be looking at the progression to the upside, right? We could be looking at the progression to the upside, which could mean finding a nice level of support on the 55, pushing to this point of 412. Very crucial, as I said, right, as I just explained. And referencing the RSI here, if we get to that point, we are going to potentially be overbought, right? We're going to be potentially overbought, and that's another reason we're going to have that correction to the downside. Another reason we're going to find that resistance at this point here. So definitely that 412 is a really crucial point to watch, right? Very, very crucial point to watch in terms of Binance Coin going through here, right? Let me jump to another coin that we got coming through here. If you guys are liking the stream, hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously, right? Trying to get on the YouTube algorithms, right? It's pretty hard being a new streamer and that. Like, I've only been going for literally like 2 weeks, so it's pretty hard indeed. So it helps me out tremendously if you could push that thumbs up blue, right? If you are liking the stream, of course. Oh, H2O, very, very nice indeed. Right, let me jump to what was next. We did BNB, WRX looking not too bad, right? We had an insane pump to the upside on the 4 hour here. From that, seeing that lower low point here, setting those high lows continuously all the way up. We are still setting those higher lows in terms of these pullbacks that we're having, right? And these pullbacks, they're healthy, right? They're not too big, they're not too bad. We are setting these high lows continuously in terms of the long-term stuff going on here, which is nice. That's nice. It's not bad. We are seeing a bit of a symmetrical triangle playing out, something looking along the lines of this, right? Pretty symmetrical triangle playing out in terms of trend lines here. So we could be looking at a break to the upside. In terms of, let me jump to a smaller time frame, and that'll be a lot more visible, right? Yeah, as you can see here, it's a lot more visible. We can get a better gauge of where we think the tops and the bottoms are here. We could be looking at something like that, but I do like to go on more of a candle close point. So yeah, let's go on like that and make it a bit more, not vertical, but a bit more slanted, right? That's pretty good at the bottom there. So we are looking at a potential measure move to the upside here, in terms of if we break the top side of this symmetrical triangle, right? In terms of the long term, as I was just discussing here, we do have that insane pump to the upside, right? That insane pump to the upside, which means this area here is nice and healthy, right? It's nice and healthy for this nice consolidation sideways period, because otherwise, if we are going to continue in this parabolic motion all the way up to say $3 there, it's just going to have that insane crash, that insane correction, which is not what we want, right? Which is not what we want at all. We are seeing this pretty bull flag pattern play out here. Very, very nice indeed. Symmetrical triangle coming through. In terms of a measure move for this symmetrical triangle, in terms of a trade, we're looking at something along the lines of this. We go on the most recent trade. A lot of traders, right? They go on this point here, top to bottom, and then they bring it across like this. For me, in terms of crypto, right, it's pretty greedy, right? It's a pretty greedy measure move, and a lot of the big whales, they know a lot of traders do this. So if you're going to be greedy, this is the measurement you should be looking for. But the likelihood of this playing out is pretty unlikely, right? It's pretty unlikely for this to play out. So that's why I go on the smallest, most recent trend. If we're going to break to the upside, it would be the previous uptrend. If we're breaking to the downside, it would be the previous downtrend, right? In terms of a position for this trade to think about, obviously depending on where we're going to break along this symmetrical triangle here, we would be looking in terms of a percent, right? In terms of a percent, we would be looking at something along the lines of this coming through here, a nice 7% trade, near enough 7% trade there. Very, very nice indeed. No crucial levels of resistance here to think about, apart from this lower high point here that we do need to basically take into consideration at that $1.06 mark. So we could be potentially be taking a percent of our profit around this point here. Definitely something to consider about. Definitely something to consider when potentially getting a long trade here. Definitely something to consider. If we are to break to the downside and we are going to see the resistance off this downward sloping resistance line of this symmetrical triangle here, I can see us basically coming down, testing this 21 moving average here, and potentially coming up and having a bounce off the 55, right? At this point in time, it's pretty ambitious to come all the way down and test this lower side of this symmetrical triangle here, but don't rule it out because we do. Don't rule it out because we do have this dominant trend line, and we do see this resistance playing out quite strongly, as you can see here, from this dominant trend line. So we could basically see a test and then a swift rejection from there. But rest assured, I can't really see us breaking to the downside anytime soon, because one point here, we do have these higher lows, which we're likely to respect in terms of this uptrend that we've got coming through here. And two, we do have major moving averages coming through in terms of levels of support here. We do have this 200 coming through here. We do have this 55 coming through here. So they're pretty crucial bounce points to look. Ideal scenario, I can see us bouncing to the upside, breaking this trend line here, and seeing that nice long trade playing out there. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just my opinions on what I think could happen. And I like to give you guys an insight on some potential trades there to think about as well in terms of measure moves and chart patterns. In terms of the RSI right now, we're pretty central, right? Could go either way. Ideal scenario is we do get a potential long trade coming up here, but obviously we do need to manage our position in terms of the RSI coming here, because as soon as we get to that overbought stage, we are going to see that correction, right, in terms of selling power. So that can initiate it could initiate that we're not going to have that completion of the measure move, but we are going to see some sort of selling power potentially 3/4 of the way up. So that is a potential point where you would close your trade, right? You need to manage your trade accordingly, depending on a few indicators, right? So if the RSI is going to be overextended here, we are going to see a potential reversal in the price here. So that would be a potential take profit and potential closing the trade point. In terms of the MACD right now, we are looking at that bullish crossover coming through here. And we do have a pretty dominant high in terms of an uptrend coming through here. And in terms of a downtrend, we do have obviously this it's not too small, it's not too big. It's an okay downwards trend cycle, right? So in terms of what I think potentially happened here, we're having a bullish crossover, which is lovely, which basically means we're going to switch to an uptrend, right? We're going to switch to an uptrend, and that's an indication that we are going to see some sort of pattern coming through along the lines of this in terms of a cycle here, in terms of a trend line. Something to think about on seeing where we see this trend reversal, right? When we see this the less confidence in the trend happening, that would be a potential point where it curls over, and another potential take profit, another potential close trade point for you to think about, right? As you can see, we are having that bullish crossover literally live right now. But as you can see, we do have this level of support here coming through, so we do need to think about if we are going to have a bearish crossover, the likelihood of it being a very big downtrend is pretty small, right? Because it's pretty dominantly respected here, it's pretty small. So if we are going to have that downtrend, don't panic if you got yourself into a long around this point and then we have that downtrend here. We're probably looking at a potential bounce to the upside because we do have the level of support on the MACD here to think about, right? If we're looking at breaking this level of support, then that is a signal that the trade isn't going to come off, and we are looking at setting a potential lower low point on the MACD there and a potential new trend cycle to think about on the MACD there. So yeah, that's pretty much WRX summed up there. Slow down just a little. Sorry, man. Sorry, I'm going pretty quick, right? I'm just going to have some water. Right, what was next? Pond for Ben Rogers there. Let me jump to Pond quickly. I will be doing a little brief summary on Bitcoin. Just because I like to do that in between my stream, because obviously Bitcoin is the domination of the market, right? I mean, not too bad. We're on the hourly here. As you can see, we've had those gains, right? Pond has had some insane gains to the upside here. And we are going to need to see this correctionary period, which is what we're seeing at this point in time, which is we do see confidence. There is confidence in the market in terms of buying power right now. So that basically gives me the inkling. We're having this correctional period. We're still setting these higher lows continuously to the upside, right? Very nice indeed. Granted, we are setting these lower highs, but that is obviously due to this insane parabolic candle that we had coming through here. So we are looking at these basically fiddle out and then a reversal in the trend to the upside. Target point to get over is this horizontal resistance point at 0.12 cents there, 12 cents. And we do have to think about this this 200 moving average coming through as well, right? Definitely something to consider when trading this old pond, right? Let's jump to the hourly because we are seeing a potential. We've got this dominant trend line coming through on the bottom side here, which we are heavily respecting continuously every other hour, right? So if we are going to see some sort of another price reversal, it would be correlating with this level of support here and this trend line coming up to the top side, right? I can't see this really going any lower than that because we are, as I said, setting these higher lows, and if we do go lower than that and start breaking these higher low points, then it would be the sign of an initial trend reversal here. Excuse me, a trend reversal coming down here and potential a test of the 21 moving average coming up here. But as you can see, there's a lot of buying power, a lot of confidence in the market. I am pretty bullish on this. Just looking at the chart, right? I can see targets coming up to the top side, and we are trying to find support on this volume weighted ATR band, right? If we find support on this volume weighted ATR band, we are looking at riding it, right? We're looking at riding it. Obviously, there's not that much history. We go back to March, right? That's obviously for Binance here. We are looking at basically coming up, testing it here as we are here, and coming up and then riding it to the upside, right? Riding it to the upside before finding it later on in terms of price action, right? In terms of percentages, you're looking at potential 23% trade there. If we do find a nice level of support on this volume weighted ATR band here, and that is basically pond summed up, right? Let me jump back to live price action. Yeah, very nice indeed. I would be looking at crucial point here, crucial candle closes above that. But target prices, I would be looking at that high point here to break, and that is at that 12-cent mark, right? Where are we now? Guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously, right? I am obviously a new YouTuber here, so I do need that extra helping hand. Turn that thumbs up blue. Does help me out tremendously, right? Let me look at what was next. We did Holochain, we did Pond. We could touch on ETH for Dominic there. We'd touch on ETH quickly. ETH looking like, let's jump to the daily quickly for ETH. Change my tool there. As you can see here, we did obviously have this insane dump. We are setting those higher lows continuously all the way up there. Crucial points, as stated before, we do have these lower highs to get over. We are currently challenging these lower highs here. We've got this volume weighted ATR band coming through. So if we can get a nice level of support on that, we are going to see that progression to the upside, right? We're going to see that progression to the upside as just described, as just explained on that that pond altcoin there, right? At this point in time, if we can see that progression to the upside and we do break these lower high points, that's crucial, right? It's crucial because we could see that insane resistance to the downside from there. So definitely something to watch. We did see a bit of resistance here in terms of the daily candle here. We did actually come down to 2,632, I think that was. And in terms of a percent, we did drop 8% there. So we are... It's looking pretty healthy in terms of retracement, in terms of this buying power, right? It's healthy stuff going on here, but crucial point to break if we're looking for another leg up would be this horizontal resistance point at this 2,871, right? If we can get above that, next target point would be to get over this 21 moving average at 2,900, right? If we can get over that, I can see us challenging this lower high at around this 3,300 mark, right? Definitely something to consider for the daily targets, right? Daily targets there. And this is the 4-hourly, right? This is the 4-hourly, the midterm coming through here. We do obviously have a pretty dominant trend line coming through here. Dominant trend line coming through for Ethereum, right? So it's definitely something to consider in terms of a level of support if we are to come down, right? If we are to come down, if we are to lose this 55. I did Ethereum earlier, actually, and I was saying we are finding a nice level of support on this 55 and progressing to the upside. I think that was around when we were around this price, right? Around 2,757. So at this point in time, we are seeing a nice progression to the upside. But in terms of short-term targets right now, forget these lower highs to get over for a minute. Sorry, forget these lower highs to get over for a minute, that insane downtrend that we had here, because obviously we are going to see that resistance there, potential resistance coming down. As you can see, we did test this point here, insane resistance, test this point here, insane resistance to the downside, right? So it's definitely something to think about when we're getting near enough this level, right? We did see some resistance here, but in terms of short-term targets right now, I would be looking to get over this lower high point that we've got going here, and that's around 2,884. That's pretty crucial, right? If we can get over that, if we can set continuous high lows all the way up here, then I can see this trend reversal being strong, right? This trend reversal being strong, and then we can potentially be looking at this 200 moving average and getting over that and finding a nice level of support. In terms of finding a leg up, that's what I think. That's what I think we need to do to get that leg up. And yeah, I'm still pretty bullish on Ethereum. They do need to sort their fees out there. That's just my opinion on that. But yeah, definitely a price target to think about for Ethereum. If we are to lose the 55 though, if we are to lose the 55, I can see us finding a nice level of support from this upwards trend line that we've got coming through here. Because obviously it correlates perfectly with the price action channel and the 21 moving average coming up as well, right? So yeah, definitely something to think about in terms of a bounce point potentially. But yeah, short-term targets, as I said, would be this 2,885 zone for Ethereum there, right? Let me jump to what was next. Chat is moving pretty fast indeed. Let me jump to I've done WRX pretty much a second ago. EOS BTC, we can have a look at that. EOS BTC, EOS BTC there. Let's have a little look at that. Never jumped on this chart. I mean, to be honest with you, man, it looks strong to the upside, but in terms of, like you said, getting in a long position, for me personally, I would not be getting it in a long position right now because, as you can see, look at this percent gain. Before we've seen like a sort of proper reversal where we're looking at 50% gain there. So I would be looking at a pullback pretty imminently, right? Pull back pretty imminently, potentially around this sort of zone here. In terms of a horizontal resistance point you could plot in, it would be looking around this point here, around that 0.00018, right? I would be looking at a resistance point looking around that. But if you are to break that resistance point there, you've got that potential for a long there to think about, right? Potential for a long there to think about, and target points looking at around this point up here, around that horizontal level of resistance, right? But at this point in time, as just stated, you're seeing that insane trend to the upside, and if you are to start, look, you've had literally like, was it 5 or 6 candles in a row that have been blue on my chart here. So if you keep that progression to the upside, it's going to be parabolic, and then you're going to see some sort of insane correction potentially coming down to the 55 and the 200 there. So in my opinion, I wouldn't be entering along here, but I would be looking at potential rejection at this zone here, at this horizontal resistance point, correlating with a few of these candle closes here, right? That's pretty much that summed up in my opinion. EOS could be a short, and that's what Sam's saying. Yeah, potentially a short, man, because we are, as I just said, we're near enough parabolic, right? Where are we now? God, we need to keep up with this chat, right? Go chain from NX, right? Let's do a bit of go. Go Go. No, I don't think we have that on Binance, right? No, we don't have that. I think I actually. Oh no, it's GOL, right? Go chain on Binance. Yeah, so we'll do that to Bitcoin quickly. I know that they don't have a USDT pairing yet because they are pretty new altcoin. I think I did an altcoin video on them actually. But yeah, at this point in time, we obviously have seen that insane pullback due to that Bitcoin dump. Not as steep. That's the word. Not as quite as steep as all the other coins there in terms of the dumping, the speed of the dumps, right? But in terms of what's happening right now, we haven't really seen the insane buying power to the upside, which is what we initially saw with a lot of the other altcoins there. We saw that insane buying power to the upside. A bit more steep, and then we saw that correction, and then we're seeing this next level of buying power to the upside here. But at this point in time with this coin, there's a bit of hope here, but it's not the best in the world in my opinion. In order for a target, I would be looking at breaking these lower highs that we're forming here and getting over this 55 moving average before we're even thinking about another leg up to this 200 moving average there, right? Definitely crucial points to get over would be this horizontal resistance point here. I'm not even going to attempt to say the price of that, but yeah, this point here, that would be crucial. And this price action channel, we do need to find a nice level of support on that. We are finding support on this this 21 moving average coming up here, and we are setting high lows continuously to the upside here. So it's not all bad. It's not all bad. It's just not as steep of a trend as all the other altcoins are performing, right? Let me do. Slow down just a little for Julia. Let me do Luna quick, right? Let me do a little bit of Luna. Little bit of Luna. There we go. Little bit of Luna. As you can see, yesterday, I think that was. Yesterday we did, today we did break that lower point of this major trend line that we've got coming up here from the bottom point of Luna here on the 4-hourly here. So, yeah, at this point in time, in terms of a target, I would be looking at a target of around $7.46 there to get over and find a nice level of support on this price action channel. If you find a nice level of support on this price action channel here and a nice level of support on this major trend line here, then I would be looking at progression to the upside. If we could find the support there, that would be ideal. We would be breaking this higher low point that we have set in terms of this downtrend coming through here. Then our next target would be this 55 at around that $8.50. But in order to do that, as I said, we do need to break this point of resistance that we're going to find on this trend line coming up through here. If we aren't going to break that point of resistance there, then we are going to see resistance falling off it and potentially a bounce off the 21 moving average coming through here at around this $6.80 mark. If we are to lose that, right, if we are to lose that 21 moving average on the downward swing, I would be looking at the next point being around these higher low points being set here, because if we do break them, it would be looking like that continuation to the downside from there, potentially bouncing off this volume weighted ATR band as we come down. But yeah, definitely something to think about. If we are to swing down, potentially maybe a long position from here, obviously depending on the validity of the market and what's happening there, potential long position if we do see a nice bounce there, because obviously from this point here you can see a nice level of momentum to the upside, right? Nice level of momentum to the upside up to this major moving average here, and that's around 17% there, so definitely something to think about as well, right? And crucially, we did actually, with this upwards momentum, we did actually break this volume weighted ATR band, which is it's pretty rare, right? It's pretty rare that we break this volume weighted ATR band, because it's a pretty strong indication in terms of trend, right? Pretty strong indication in terms of trend. We do see very nice bounce points continuously off it, right? So yeah, that's very, very good sign indeed that we are going to see some upwards momentum from this horizontal resistance point. Definitely something to think about. In terms of the RSI quickly, we're pretty much central on that. You know, we're literally near enough dead on central for that, right? Near enough dead on central for that. So that's pretty bad indication of what we're going to do, because we could come up to the outside, we could come to the downside before we're overbought, before we're oversold. We can't really get an indication of where the price is going to go on the RSI, right? In terms of, you can do it with trend lines and stuff, but in terms of what I can see, there's nothing really coming through there in terms of downward sloping resistance lines and that sort of thing there. But yeah, just going to have a bit of water there. H2O is good. How long have I been streaming now? Near enough 2 hours, right? If you guys are liking the stream, if you could hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, it helps me out tremendously, right? Does help me out tremendously. Obviously, I'm a new YouTuber on the block, only been streaming for around 2 weeks here, so it does help me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algorithms and stuff. And guys, if you want to be streaming with me every single morning, right? Every single morning, I do this for 1 to 2 hours, so hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, you're never going to miss one of my streams. And also I do altcoin videos, I do emergency Bitcoin updates, I do emergency altcoin updates, loads and loads of just content creation continuously, right? I live for crypto and content creation. So guys, if you never want to miss one of my uploads, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button as well. But yeah, let's do, what should we do next? We did a bit of Doge. Bit of Doge. In my opinion, right, I don't like Doge, right? I don't like Doge. the fact that it's a bit of a joke coin, it has gained. I'm not going to lie, it has gained quite a bit of seriousness recently in terms of the market cap, in terms of coming like fourth in terms of the top 4 cryptocurrencies or something ridiculous. I think it's dropped down to 5 now. But yeah, it has gained an insane amount of confidence in terms of the crypto market. But in my opinion, right now, I'm never going to be holding Doge. I do like to trade Doge occasionally because a lot of the chart patterns actually do play out. They're pretty predictable, right? Yeah, in my opinion, I don't like Doge. But obviously, you guys do like Doge. A few of you like Doge. So in terms of price predictions for Doge right now, I can potentially see a swift rejection coming off this downward sloping resistance line of this descending triangle that we've got formed in here. Let me make it a bit more obvious as a descending triangle for you guys there. So yeah, potential of a bottom for Doge coming through at the bottom horizontal resistance point. Horizontal support point would be around this $28 zone here. If we are looking at a break to the upside, target point in terms of a measure move for that would be looking at something along the lines of this. But as you can see, we haven't really done a lot in this descending triangle, right? So ideally, for healthiness of a chart pattern, we would be looking at something along the lines of this and a potential break there to see all these this confirmation that the chart pattern's basically going to play out, right? So yeah, ideally we would like to come down now, bounce off this 28-cent zone to see that confirmation, and then have a bounce a bit later on, maybe in a few days or so to the upside. But let's go on the basis that we are going to bounce to the upside, right? And we are going to clear this this trend line, which we have constantly been testing over the last day or so. Let's go on the basis that we are going to break that. If we are going to break that in terms of a measure move to the upside, we will be looking at something pretty juicy indeed. Pretty juicy. 22% trade there to think about in terms of a long position. But take into account, you do have these insane levels of resistance coming through here. Horizontal resistance point coming through here. We do have these lower high points coming through here as well to think about. So when you're in a position like that, you want to be taking bits of profit as you basically clear all these lines, so clear all these levels of resistance, right? If you can take some profit all the way up, and then if you finally get to this zone here, then that'd be ideal. That'd be a closed trade there. But if not, you are taking profit all the way up. So if you do see some sort of resistance, say off this 200 here, you're going to see some sort of price reversal there. You've already taken profit, right? You're potentially at a break-even point there for your trade, so it's not the end of the world if the trade goes bad, right? It's all about risk management, that sort of thing there, taking that profit. We like that profit. That's why we're here, right? We're here to make money. We're here to make money. That's exactly why, right? But yeah, let me jump back to Ty, I would be watching for a price break of this descending triangle, right? Yeah, that's something definitely to watch for Doge, right? And that's obviously on the midterm for Doge. And crucial point, we do need to get over this 21 moving average to do so, right? Let me jump to what's next? Did Dogecoin BNB? Pretty much, I know you said sorry you've done BNB. Let me just elaborate quickly on BNB for SROS 6 there, because I know a bit of an OG coming through there. Been through since the start. Yep, this is a potential short position which we were looking at earlier for BNB here, and that's obviously on the predication that we lose the 21 moving average here. We lose the bottom side of this rising price channel here. In terms of a short position that for me I would be looking at, it would be when we lose this 21, find out resistance to the downside, and that would be a nice potential 10% gain there. Definitely something to consider. And obviously we do have these high lows coming through here, so we would be looking at taking some profit all the way up as we go in terms of that trend, right? And that's obviously to the downside. If we're looking at progression to the upside, we are going to be referencing the RSI here and finding support on this downward sloping trend line coming through here. If we do find a nice level of support on there, we are going to see that buying power, right? We're going to see that buying power to the upside. And that basically means, right, we're going to find a nice level of support on this 55. We're going to be breaking this lower high point. Yeah, this lower high point here in terms of this mini downtrend that we got coming through here. We're going to find a nice level of support on this 55, and that could basically mean progression to the upside. And then we're going to be testing the crucial lower high points of the insane downtrend that we had going through here, which is what I was speaking about at that point, and that's around the 412 mark there. So definitely something to watch if we are going to break to the downside, potential short position to think about there. Obviously, I'm not saying take this position. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'm just giving you my opinion on a trade that I could potentially be taking. I obviously advise you to do your own research and do your own TA there, but if I can educate you on a potential position there, that's brilliant for me and brilliant for you as well, right? And I like to explain why I'm going to get there and why I think we're going to get there and all that stuff there, right? But yeah, so in terms of a target price to the top side, I would be looking at 412. Obviously, once we've cleared this lower high point here and we get over this 55 moving average and we find support there, right? That is BNB pretty summed up quickly. Did you do Cardano already? Yes, I did do ADA already. BTC is pumping. Let me have a little look at that quick. Yeah, BTC did actually pump, and we found a nice, well, not nice, we found a nice resistance point at around this 39,000 449 mark. We are seeing that resistance coming down there. If we are going to see us basically come down and see that resistance playing out, we are going to basically see a potential bounce off this 21 and the price action channel coming through here at $38,000.06. If we're looking at potential momentum to the upside and we break the resistance and find support on this 200, next resistance point is pretty in line, right? It's near enough in line with this 200 moving average in terms of horizontal resistance point here, and that is around 39,600. So if we can find a nice level of support on that, we would be looking at progression to the upside. But as you can see, we are testing these lower high points in terms of this downtrend that we had coming through here, and that's another reason why we are finding a bit of resistance here. And we are dumping at this point in time, right? We are dumping at this point in time. But as I said, potential bounce at this 21, right? I think that's near enough higher, right? Near enough higher. Yep, that's a good sign if we're breaking this lower high point here in terms of this downtrend. It's good if we can get that, because basically that means that's confirmation that we're seeing that trend reversal, right? Definitely something to consider when trading the old Bitcoin. Let's go back to those altcoins quickly. Back to those altcoins quickly. Those altcoins, where were we? Let's do a bit of Litecoin, right? Let's do a bit of Litecoin. LTC, baby. LTC, baby. And guys, if you're liking the stream, it'd be amazing if you could smash that thumbs up button. It helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algorithms. Obviously, I've only been streaming for like 2 weeks here. So it does help me out tremendously if you could smash up that like button and turn that thumbs up blue. Obviously, guys, if you are liking the stream, right? I'm going to go to the daily for Litecoin right now. We are seeing that insane buying power to the upside from that low point of around $118 there. We are seeing these high lows being set continuously, which is great stuff, right? Great stuff in terms of buying power. We did see a bit of a fizzle out in the trend here. We did see a lower high get set here in terms of this daily candle, but let's not call it at the end of the day, right? Because we've still got 13 hours and 55 minutes of this candle, right? We could be seeing that buying pressure to the upside, and we could be setting another higher point in terms of this trade here. In terms of the target, I would be looking at this point. It's pretty crucial. As I was saying on a lot of the charts right now, we do have these lower high points to think about in terms of that insane downtrend, which we saw before, that insane massive panic sell-off that we saw for crypto, right? The crypto crash. Yeah, so these are pretty crucial points that we do need to get over if we are looking at a leg up for Litecoin there, and pretty much Bitcoin, Bitcoin here, and pretty much all altcoins there as well, right? Some of the altcoins are testing them at the moment, like VeChain, so we will see how that's going to play out. But at this point in time, we are seeing some pretty dominant resistance on some charts like that, right? In terms of what's happening on the midterm for the old Litecoin right now. Midterm for Litecoin right now, we are seeing these lower highs being set. They're not that strong, though, in my opinion. They're not that strong, but we did see a nice, well, not nice, but we did see a lot of resistance from this lower high getting set point there. And but in positive terms, we are seeing that buyer power to the upside. We are finding a nice little support on the 21 moving average. In terms of a target for the next 2 hours of this 4-hourly candle that we got going on here, I would like to see us break this lower high point that we've got coming on here and coming through and testing this 55. If we could do that, find a nice little support on the 55, I can see us basically taking a little leg up to this 211 mark and testing that crucial point as I just described, right? In terms of positivity right now, we are having these high low points being set, right? These higher low points being set all the way up, which is very nice indeed. If it's going to be really negative, right, we are going to see a swift rejection. I can see us basically potentially bouncing off this horizontal support point at 170 there. If we're to lose that, I hate to say it, it's not looking good at all. We are going to potentially see a reverse in the trend and potentially coming down to the next horizontal support point at 156 there. So definitely something to consider. The chart's going crazy. Definitely something to consider when trading Litecoin in terms of crucial points to get to in the next 2 hours or so. It would be this 55 moving average and finding support on there if we're looking at coming up and testing the crucial lower high points of that previous downtrend that we saw, that insane panic sell-off, right? Let me go back to Cello. Let's do a bit of Cello for Jake. Hello, Jake. How are you doing today, sir? Cello. And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously, right? As you can see here on Cello on the 4-hour, we're having this nice consolidation sideways period. In my opinion, that's very nice indeed. Very, very healthy price action. Juicy, juicy stuff. And the reason why I'm saying it's nice, the reason why I'm saying it's healthy is because we've seen this insane mega candle to the top side here, this mega pump to the top side. So we're going to need this consolidation correction period. Otherwise, we're going to have a correction period that's going to come down and see a mega deep sea dive to the downside here. So we do need this correctionary period before we're looking at taking that next leg up. Obviously, we are quite far away from these lower highs to the top side here. So in terms of short-term targets for Cello here, I would be looking at breaking this horizontal resistance point at this $3.79 there, and that obviously means we are going to need to get over this 55 moving average here as well. So in order to do that, we would be looking at a 2-hour close above the 55 and potentially setting setting a new a higher high in terms of this mini trend that we got coming through here, and setting a higher low coming through on the bottom side here. That's the ideal scenario. In terms of a short-term trend, as I was just saying, we do need to break these lower highs that are being set along this point here. So ideally, we want to close at around this $3.88 zone. That would be ideal for the likelihood of a leg up to this level of resistance at $4.16 there. If we are to lose this 55 and we are to come down, I can potentially see a bounce off this 22 to the downside. But as you can see, we have seen that insane buying power to the upside. So I can't really see us coming any lower than that. If we are to see us coming lower than that, it would be due to Bitcoin leading the market and dumping the price. I can see a potential bounce setting on this volume weighted ATR band here. But it's not the end of the world because we're not breaking this high low point here. If we're breaking that high low point here, we are going to see some sort of trend reversal to the downside from there. But at this point in time, we're looking pretty bullish indeed, right? That's Cello pretty summed up. Tel, I'm trying to go really fast so I can get as many done for you guys here. Telcoin, that's going to be on Qcoin, right? It's pretty new coin. No, pretty new coin, no. Let me jump to the daily quickly. Let's jump to the daily. Oh, God, that's insane pumps, right? Insane pumps, obviously, from the start of the bull market that we had going on there. But yeah, so as you can see here, we have seen that swift price recovery, right? Swift price recovery, it's not too bad at all, right? Before we saw that insane dump to the downside, we were actually sat around the price that we're at here. So that's pretty good. We are breaking these lower high points that we set, which I said is pretty crucial for a lot of these altcoins and Bitcoin in general, right? So we are breaking that point. We are seeing a bit of resistance and a bounce off this 21 on the daily at this point in time. In terms of a daily target, I would be looking for the next 13 hours, 500 to be continuously setting these higher lows continuously up here. Obviously, we are be setting a bit of a lower high coming through here, but in order to invalidate this point here, we would be looking at a target price of this 4 cent 44 4 cent 42 at this volume weighted ATR band to basically have that confirmation of that initial trend reversal, right? That's what we're looking for in terms of a daily target for TEL here. In terms of the 4 hour that we got going through here, it's not looking bad at all. It's not looking bad at all. Obviously, we do obviously we do have these dominant trend lines coming up, and we did actually lose that dominant trend line yesterday, or no, dominant trend line we lost in the last like 12 hours, right? We lost this trend line coming through, and we are currently having a nice little test on it, right? If we can get a nice little test on it and find a nice level of support, that's basically an initiation. No, it's an initiation. I can't think of the word for that, but basically, it's the chance that we could come up and have a progressionary pump to the upside and basically smashing through these lower high points here. But as I said, short-term targets that we'd be looking for would be around this zone here, getting through these low highs and basically breaking these high points in terms of these trends, in terms of this up trends that we've got coming through here. But as I said on the daily here, it's not the end of the world that we're having these correction points, because obviously this pump is huge, right? In terms of the fact that we find resistance off this trend line that we've got coming through here, I would see us having a bounce off this 2021, as you can see we did do here, and potentially this 55. We didn't quite get there to the 55 on the 4 hour here. We didn't quite get there to the 55 or the 21 really, so that does show that we do have quite a bit of buying potential to the upside here. If we are looking for a bounce point here, it would be around this point here. It would be around this point here to think about, right? And that's pretty much Telcoin summed up. Let me jump to the RSI quickly. We're not quite overbought, we're not quite oversold, we're pretty central, but if we are going to look at that buying power to the upside, we do need to think about the RSI movements from there, because if we get to, say, this point here, the crucial point of resistance that we're going to find here, correlating with this lower high that we got coming through here, if we are going to get to that point there, then we are potentially going to be overbought. If we're overbought, we're going to need to see that sort of correction, right? And that could potentially correlate with this insane downwards momentum that we could see when we're coming up to test this point here. And as you can see, we are seeing that downwards momentum as it's played out here, right? So definitely could correlate perfectly with the RSI here. So it's definitely something to manage if you're going to be trading this in terms of your swing trades, right? Whew, I need some more water and I've run out. Let me see if I can get a drip. Very nice indeed. I've been streaming for 2 hours and 13 minutes here, guys. Crazy stuff. I probably am going to go to that 2 hour and a half mark and see how I feel. Ideally, I would like to get some more water and carry on going, right? But yeah, we'll just see how we go. Let me get through some more coins for you guys. I just did Doge. I could touch on MATIC quickly for you guys. Top 3 on your watch list for today from Hamilton. On my watch list for today, as I said, we do have a potential trade for BNB. ADA, I'd like to see what happens for ADA coming through there. And VeChain as well. I do think VeChain is pretty underpriced itself, right? Let me have a look at what was next. ENJ, right? That's for modified JDM. Hello there, sir, or madam, or them in 2021, right? Yeah, Engine Coin. It's not looking bad, right? We're looking at the progressionary pump to the upside, continuously setting these higher lows here. Currently testing the 200 moving average continuously. Continuously testing the 200 moving average on on the midterm here, continuously testing it, finding that resistance, unfortunately. But yeah, we are finding a nice level of support on this major trend line that we got coming down here, which is good because that basically signals that we could have a potential bounce point, which we did to the upside from here. Ideally, we are looking for a potential target for the next few hours or so. Yeah, potential for the next probably say the next 8 hours to get over this point here, to get over this 200, find a nice level of support, and then look at that progression to the upside. But if we look back in time here, we do have this falling wedge pattern coming through here. So that is an initiation that we are finding this level of resistance here in terms of a trend line, right? So we do need to think about that if we are going to be looking at targets to get over this 200 here, because we are potentially looking at some called up resistance points coming here before we can see a break to the upside, or potentially a break to the downside and potentially coiling up on this horizontal resistance line. Yeah, definitely something to think about, guys. And guys, if you are liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously, right? Let's turn that thumbs up blue. I'm not sure how many likes we're on, but let's turn that thumbs up blue, right? Helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algos. And guys, if you want to be streaming with me every single day, right? If you want to be streaming with me every single day, I do it every single morning, Monday to Friday. So just hit that notification bell, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads or my streams, right? And obviously, you're going to need to subscribe to hit that notification bell as well, right? Let me jump to, let me do a brief thing on MATIC, right? Brief thing on MATIC right now. As I was saying earlier on my stream at the start of the day here, we have seen that insane progression to the upside for MATIC. Very bullish on MATIC in terms of the technology they're doing. I have heard rumors that we are going to see a bit of a fizzle out in terms of when we get to like the end of the summer or something along the lines of that, due to Ethereum coming through and doing their layer 2 technology or something along the lines of that. We need to do more research from that. But obviously at this point in time, everyone's pretty bullish on MATIC. It is the coin that's outperforming everyone. It is literally back to where it was before we saw that colossal dumpage. We are setting these high lows continuously all the way up. Higher highs in terms of this trend that we've got coming through here. Crucial point right now on the 4 hourly, we do need to break this volume weighted ATR band. We need to break this volume weighted ATR band, and that is the target price of around $2.28 there. If we can break that, we are going to see a nice level of support being formed there. Nice level of support being formed there potentially, and then the target would be this $2.56, and that is the previous all-time high close. Definitely something to consider in terms of a target for the day. If we are going to lose this volume weighted ATR band here, we're potentially going to see some resistance here, and I can potentially see a bounce off this 21 yet again, as we did here, right? As we did here. Or potentially a bounce off the 55, which is this green one here coming through. So we are looking at a potential bounce from there if we do see a dump in the price. I mean, at this point in time, we did see this insane pump yesterday, right? This insane pump yesterday for MATIC itself, right? And then we've seen this consolidation period from there, which is healthy, right? As I say, this consolidation period is healthy. We are looking at these retraces, right? These retraces, around 17% retracement for MATIC there. Still, it's good indeed, because if we look at the momentum for this pump and the percent for this pump, look, it's near enough 50%, right? So we do need that retracement coming through for it to be healthy. If we go parabolic, we're going to see insane bigger corrections from there. So we're looking healthy in terms of buying power to the upside from this retracement here, right? So we are looking at coming up, having a nice target of around this point, breaking these lower high points here, and setting a higher high point in terms of this uptrend and continuously creating those higher lows here. So in terms of targets, I would be looking at getting over this point here around that $2.30. And long-term target, well, not long-term target, potentially. Obviously, we know how MATIC behaves. It could be pretty imminent that we get there, potentially in 8 or 12 hours, something like that. We could be seeing a test of the new all-time high there for MATIC. But I do think we are going to see some resistance there. So be cautious for that, and I wouldn't be longing anytime soon for MATIC, right? Just because in terms of risk-reward scenario, we have gone up a hell of a lot recently. So if we are looking on the bigger time frames here, it's near enough quite parabolic, right? So we are potentially looking at a big correction if we do see that progression to the upside yet again, right? Let me think here. What else have we got? Do a bit of Stellar. Do a bit of Stellar, XLM. Yep, bit of Stellar here. Bit of Stellar. Love a bit of Stellar. Stellar à toi. As you can see here on the daily, we did have this dominant price channel coming through on the daily here, which we were heavily respecting, right? We did have that confirmation it was going to play out very nicely in terms of a measure move to the upside or a measure move to the downside, right? If my calculations are correct, we did get a nice play out of a measure move to the downside. If I could draw that as a trend here, we were looking at something like that. No, we did not. We did not play that out. Nowhere near at all, right? And we didn't play that out. Absolutely not at all. But yeah, we did see a bottom for Stellar here at around that 0.27 mark. And let me go back to this point here in terms of this rising price channel, because this dump was obviously caused by Bitcoin and that crypto crash and all this panic selling coming off here. We are seeing that buying power to the upside, setting this high lows continuously, which is very nice indeed. But currently we are finding a bit of resistance at this major trend line on the daily here. We're finding a bit of resistance at this major trend line on the daily here. So it's definitely something to consider in terms of reversal in price. If we are going to see a reversal in price, we could see a potential bounce off this 200 moving average that we've got coming through here, and then potentially a bounce up to test this the resistance on this trend line yet again, hopefully finding support. If we can find support on it, that's going to be ideal. Obviously, that is going to be the daily target to get over here and find support and then progress to the upside, potentially coming up and testing that 21. So in terms of a price target for the daily, I would be looking at around 47 cents to get over this wick to have that insane confirmation of a higher high in terms of the trend that we're coming through now. Yeah, that would be the ideal scenario, getting to that 47 cent today for Stellar. If we're not going to get that, obviously we have set this lower low point in terms of this lower high point in terms of the trend coming down from the top side here. So it is likely we are to see some sort of trend reversal and a bounce off this 200 there. Whew. Whew, no wonder I need water all the time. But yeah, guys, if you've got any other requests, dump them in the chat there. Let me see. We got to Stellar, got to Engine. Any chances we could be? Let me do a little brief on Bitcoin, right? Let me jump back to Bitcoin quickly. Alexandru, yes, I did do 88 already. If you want to rewind the stream back, you can see that. I can potentially touch on it for you in a minute once I get all the other ones out of the way. Eagle Coin, Crow Coin, Crypto Coin. Yeah, I do have a little. Your brother does a live show also, lol. Yes, Mark. We are brothers and we do the same thing, right? Obviously, he's a lot more established than me. Shout out to Bitcoin Boots and all that juicy stuff there, right? But yeah, brief on Bitcoin right now. We have actually seen that pump to the upside. We are actually challenging the 200 moving average that we've got coming through here. If we do find a bit of resistance there, I can see us coming down and testing this 21 moving average coming through here. But in positive terms, we have broken this lower high point coming down of this trend, right? We have broken this lower high point coming down of this trend, which is an indication that we're getting a bit more bullish, right? That we are going to find support on this 200 moving average after we broke a bit more resistance. And we are going to find support at this 39,600 mark here. And then progress to the upside and see a potential target of that 40,500 zone today. That would be ideal. But obviously, as you can see, we have seen quite a lot of these blue candles coming through on the short term here. So we are looking at potential price correction. But at the end of the day, we have set these higher lows continuously all the way up, and we have just broke this lower high here. So that's an indication that we are going to see that trend to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if we came down now for a bit, testing this 21 and then saw another break to the upside. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But a crucial point, we have set this this higher high point in terms of this trend here coming up to the upside, breaking this lower high. So yeah, that's pretty much the short term for Bitcoin there. In terms of if we break to the absolute downside and we just crush to the floor here, deep sea diving, I did say at the start of the stream here, I was looking at a potential short position, right? Potential short position to the downside. But as you can see, it is now correlating with this downward sloping resistance line here. So we are or support if we do come and touch it to the top side here. So we are potentially looking at a take profit point if we do lose this trend line here. And entering a short, right? And also we do have this crucial high low point that we do need to think about as well in terms of a take profit for the short position. And it basically, the measurement will correlate perfectly with this horizontal level of support at 35. So it's definitely something to consider if we do have a massive sell-off. In terms of a percentage for that trade, it's around 8%, and we are going to be taking profits at all these different support points coming down here. So it's definitely something to consider out. Definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin if we are going to break to the downside there. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. I just like to educate on a potential position for Bitcoin there. Let's jump to the midterm for Bitcoin here. As you can see here, we are in this lovely, juicy, rising price channel that we got coming through here, which is very nice indeed. We are coming up to test this 55. We have just smashed through this lower high here, as stated on the short term there. This measure move was going to be another move down from this rising price channel here on the short term here. It was going to be another measure move down if we were to break to the lower side of this rising price channel. Right at this point in time, we're seeing that momentum to the upside, which is very good indeed for Bitcoin, which is what we want. I can see us coming up, testing the 55, potentially having some sort of retracement from there, coming up, testing the 10 moving average before another leg up. Targets for the 4 hour right now would be to get over this 55 moving average, and that would be at around 39,925 there. If we can get over that, get a nice candle close above that, that's the indication that we are looking to progress to the upside. Let me bring up the RSI. Really interesting stuff here. We do actually have a resistance point to get over in terms of a trend on the RSI here. As you can see, it's primarily respected continuously on the midterm here. So we do need to basically take this into account, right? Take this into account, and it is an indication that when we do get to this buying power point on the RSI here in terms of this resistance line, we are going to see a pretty swift rejection from the 55. It's likely to happen, right? It's likely to happen before we break through and find support. If we break through and find support, that basically is an initiation that we are going to find support on the 55 as well, and then we are going to progress to the upside from there. Very interesting stuff. So yeah, reference the RSI at this crucial point when trading Bitcoin on the midterm, right? In terms of Bitcoin on the midterm, in terms of the MACD, the macadamia nut that we got going through here, we were literally imminent for a bearish crossover, right? We're imminent for a bearish crossover, but as you can see here, we have this dominant trend line coming through on the MACD on the midterm here. So if we were gonna have this bearish crossover, it was either gonna be insanely flaccid, like we nearly got there, but it wasn't quite enough to even tap the level of support on this trend line that we've got coming through here. So that's why we've basically switched back bullish here in terms of an uptrend here. But obviously these two trend line, these two moving averages are still pretty close, so it is potential that we are going to see a bearish crossover pretty soon. But at this point in time, we're still in an uptrend, right? We're still in an uptrend compared to earlier, and that's what we're seeing now. This uptrend is what we're seeing now. This buying power to the upside, which is very, very nice indeed, right? As you can see, if we are going to see that progression to the upside, we do have a pretty high point to break on in terms of the MACD here. So it's definitely something to consider, because I don't think we're going to get up to that point anytime soon, because that is the literally pump looking like something along the lines of this, right? We're going to see a pump looking along the signs of this. We're going to be looking at something like that, and that's going to break the lower highs here, which I do think we're going to find some pretty dominant resistance on. Right? Excuse me. Yeah, so definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin on the midterm there, right? Okay, very nice. That is on the midterm summed up, right? In terms of chart patterns and stuff like that. Let me have a look at the long term, right? Crucial points for the long term is this lower high point. I can't stress that enough. This lower high point for Bitcoin that we do need to break here. Obviously, we are looking positive. We are setting these higher lows continuously all the way up here, which is very nice indeed. If we are going to see a bit of a trend reversal here, I can potentially see a bounce around this 35k zone. Definitely something to consider. But we do have this the 10 moving average coming in as well here. So we are going to potentially find a nice level of support if we are going to trickle down and then potentially see that progression rate to the upside. In terms of short-term targets in terms of daily targets right now, what I would love to see, right? What I would love to see is another higher high being set in terms of this small uptrend that we got coming through here, and not a lot of resistance from this 200 moving average, from these lower highs here. If we don't find a lot of resistance from there and we find a nice level of support there, I can see us coming up and testing this 43k zone. That would be absolutely ideal for Bitcoin, because it basically means we're not going to see that swift rejection as we've seen on the smaller time frames for this lower high point here for Bitcoin, right? Because as you can see here, we did see this this insane surge to the upside from this lowest low point at around 30k Bitcoin, absolutely crazy. We did see this this lower high point get created, and then the swift rejection coming through from there. So that's an indication that we could be seeing a bit of a swift rejection coming through from there, and that obviously can cause, we are in crypto here, guys, so that can cause some pretty crazy validity in the market, and some insane panic selling, right? Some insane panic selling, right? So that's pretty much Bitcoin summed up. In terms of a target, I would be looking at getting over this 21 for the 12 hour there, and this, as I said, is crucial point, this lower high point here, right? Let's jump back to some altcoins here. I am confused, Shaba. Any short? I would say a potential short position for Bitcoin would be if we are going to find a nice level of resistance at this lower high here. So in terms of a price for that, that would be a short position looking at around that 41.3 zone, and that is that's correlating on most of the time frames, right? And obviously that would be meaning that we are going to lose the 55. And if we are going to see that, I would see us basically potentially coming down and testing these higher low points that we've got coming through here. That's around 37, 36. So definitely a point to watch, and that's why it's so crucial, this point here, because we could see that that insane resistance to the downside when we come up and test that properly. And we saw a little taster of that here, right? We saw a little taster of that here, so it's definitely something to consider. In terms of a short position, if you're looking at a short there, for me it's a bit too volatile and it's a bit too crucial to be getting in a short there. But yeah, obviously each their own. Let me put the short, it will get clearer soon. Hello Ivo, OG out here. Let me have it. I'm good, thanks, just sub. Cheers Jake for the sub, means a lot, bro. Obviously trying to reach that monetizable level. Obviously it's miles away, I need 1,000 subs to get there, right? Would have been going 2 weeks, so yeah, thanks to everyone who subs, and press that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my lives or my uploads, and I do it every single morning, Monday to Friday. I do try and get in a live stream on the weekends as well, but obviously weekends are very busy, and if I'm streaming for literally like 4 hours a day every Monday to Friday, I'm pretty tired on the weekend, so it is nice to have a bit of a sleep, right? Let me have a look. To be honest with you, I don't really want to look at Sheba, but for you, sir, I will. Ship. It's just terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. Obviously, you guys know this is literally another like meme coin, right? At this point in time, it just goes down. It just goes down. The low point that we saw here, I really hate this coin, but yeah, at this low point that we saw here was around this point. I'm not really going to say this number because it's just impossible to say. But yeah, if we're looking at this progression down down at the moment. It just goes down. In order to break to the upside, we are going to be looking at breaking this downward sloping resistance line that we've got coming through here, and that would mean we have to claim this 21 moving average coming through here on the 4-hourly chart. So if you're looking at a progression to the upside, I would be waiting to get over this point on this 21 moving average. I'm not going to try and say the numbers, but yeah, on this 21 moving average, I would be looking to get over that and this major downward sloping resistance line here. That's all I'm doing for SHIB, I'm afraid. That's all I'm doing for SHIB. In my opinion, don't ever buy SHIB. It's just going to go down, right? It's just going to go down. Exactly. SHIB is dead for sure. Exactly, Subba. Yep. No SHIB here. Thank you very much. But I'll do it for the Crest Bayou there. Let's jump to Luna for Nilesh there. Let's jump to Luna. Let me see. As we can see here on the 4-hourly here. Yeah, on the 4-hourly here. God, nearly been streaming 2 hours and a half, guys. It's crazy, crazy stuff. I'm probably going to go for that 3-hour mark here today. I've done it once before and it made me really tired. But yeah, I'm going to go for that 3-hour mark today. Guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up, turn that notification blue. Helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algorithms. Obviously, if you are liking the stream, don't do it if you're not liking the stream, right? But yeah, in terms of Luna right now, and guys, get your altcoins in the chat there, and I will be jumping onto them. I've got KSM lined up next, and I'm going to do a bit of EOS for Admirable there. Very nice stuff indeed. Ivo, weekends are very busy equals drinking heavily Friday. Absolutely not, bro. I've actually cut down on drinking a lot, really, like a lot. I'm going for like a couple of cocktails Friday, but nothing too extravagant, right? Because I do need to still get out some uploads on the weekend, right? But it's just quite tiring streaming all weekend as well, right? Luna right now, we do have this dominant trend line to the upside coming through from this lowest point here around $4 here. And we did actually break that to the downside around 8 to 12 hours ago. So we did actually break that to the downside, which isn't that great, right? It's not that great in terms for Luna right now. But we are testing it. We are seeing that momentum, that upwards momentum to the upside here, and we are testing it. We're testing this trend line. If we can find a nice level of support on that, the target price for that would be around $7.44 there. But obviously, we do have this price action channel coming through here, which is made up of all the major moving averages. It basically gives us a nice average, and we do see quite a lot of support or resistance coming down from that, right? So it's definitely a crucial point. If we are going to break this trend line to the upside here, we are going to be looking at testing this price action channel as well. Next target, if we do get over that, I can see us pumping to the upside, clearing this high point of this trend that we've got coming through here, and basically setting a higher low point continuously all the way up. That would be very nice if we can get to this 55 moving average that we've got coming through here on the 4-hourly here, and that is price target of around $8.55. Can I see us getting there today? At this point in time, probably not. This is crucial, right? This is really crucial in terms of breaking through these lower high points that we're getting through here, because obviously we're going to find a bit of resistance here from this most recent downtrend that we've seen. So it is crucial we get through this point. So if we are going to be looking at any progression to the upside, I would be watching this point at $7.54, pretty crucially, right? And then the next level of resistance we're going to be finding is going to be around this point here, right? Because obviously we've got this this high point to smash through as well, right? So there's definitely something to consider when trading the old Luna, right? What was next? What was next? KSM, right? KSM for Nilesh, right? KSM, Tetherus. Yeah, as you can see here, guys, we did see this downwards channel pretty much forming on this on the 4-hourly here, right? We did actually break that to the upside in terms of this this trend line that we've got coming through, probably yesterday or something like that. So yeah, at this point in time, we are testing this 21 moving average to the upside. If we get a break for that, I would be looking at a next target of around this price action channel at around the 337 mark in terms of percent for that potential trade there. If you want to get into trade, if we clear the 21, I wouldn't, in my opinion. But yeah, potential for that price action there would be a nice 3% gain. If we are to get over this price action channel, we would be looking to get over these lower highs as well, and that's crucial, right? It's crucial we get over those lower highs and set those higher lows continuously all the way up to break to the upside, continuing that trend to the upside there. If we are looking at finding that resistance off this 21 moving average coming down here, we would be looking at the next horizontal level of support at around 300. In terms of referencing the RSI right now, we're pretty central. Can't really get a great indication on what we're going to do from there. But yeah, in terms of getting rejection from there, I would be looking at a bounce point at this horizontal support line at 300. If we are to lose that, just by the chance, if we are to lose that and find some downwards momentum from there, I would potentially see a bounce off this major trend line we got coming through here. A bounce from there, and potentially if we are to see that downwards price action, that trend reversal, we do have this high low point to break as well. So that would be the next point of support that we would be looking for, and then the absolute low I can see basically is this volume weighted ATR band coming up through here. So we'll be looking at a potential bounce position from there, and if that was to correlate perfectly with with this trend line that we've got coming down to the top side here of this channel that we've got coming down here. If this was to correlate perfectly with this volume weighted ATR band, when the price was to get, I would be looking at a potential long position from there all the way up to this 300 mark, and that would be the horizontal level of resistance if we are to the bottom side here, right? Definitely something to think about when trading the old KSM, right? But in terms of short-term targets, I would be looking at getting over this lower high point, and that is at around 347 there. Getting a nice close above that in the next hour or so, yeah, hour and a half. I would be looking at getting above there and clearing this 21, right? Clearing this 21 moving average and getting above there. Then we're going to see progression to the upside. Hopefully, right? But if we do set a lower high, it is an indication that we are going to see a reverse in the trend here, and we are going to be setting lower lows continuously in this small trend that we've got coming on here, and potentially we're looking at another bounce at this 300, right? At this 300, that's pretty much KSM summed up. Let me jump to what I think was next. It was EOS, right? EOS, and that was for Admirable 001. 001. I watched James Bond last night, actually, 007 stuff. EOS did EOS earlier, but I'll jump on that again for you, sir. At this point in time, we're trading at $6.85, right? $6.85. We do have a dominant trend I can see coming up from the bottom side here, which is very nice. It's going to be a very nice level of support if we are looking to test the downside, right? If we are looking to test the downside, losing this 55, we know we've got a nice level of support off this major trend line here. As you can see, we do have that buying momentum here from that level, from that trend line, right? We do have that buying momentum. So if we are to get down there and lose the 55, which we're currently finding support on, then it's going to be, it's not too bad. It's not going to be too bad. Potentially a wick down to the 21 moving average before we progress to the upside, right? Pretty bullish right now, in my opinion. As you can see, we've had these pumps, right? These insane pumps, these insane recovery points, and we are currently testing these lower high points, which is, as I said, pretty crucial as before. So we're likely to find some resistance here, but don't be scared here, because we could get swift rejection, but we got this support. We got a nice level of support here. We got the 55, and we got this dominant trend line coming up to the top side. So we are looking at potentially coming up for another test if we do get rejected here. If we don't get rejected here and we break this crucial level that we're finding here, we could be looking at another target for around this 200 moving average, and that is around $7.37, right? If we're looking at a potential trade. If we're looking at a potential trade, I would be looking at getting over the last wick before we clear this level of resistance, which we're currently finding, and then getting in a potential long position up to this 200 moving average here. Nice little 5% there. Obviously, very, very close stop loss, so we're minimizing those losses there, guys. But yeah, potential trade there, potential long trade there. Obviously, don't copy my trades, do your own research. But yeah, that is something that I would be looking at, just looking at the chart as I'm looking at it right now, right? And that's obviously on the predication we don't get rejected and we don't come to the downside and test this 55 again, right? But as you can see here, on the RSI, we're nearly overextended, right? So that's definitely an indication that we're looking at a pretty swift rejection, right? If we're looking at a pretty swift rejection, so that's why I would have drawn this horizontal to the top side of this, because if we do get to the top side of that, we are going to see that buying momentum, and then that is the point that we are going to see that overbought period for the RSI here. And you know what happens when that happens? We see the correction, right? We see the correction. We see that selling power on the RSI. So that's an indication that the price is going to dump down from there, and we are going to see some resistance from there and a potential bounce off the 55 yet again, right? Interesting stuff. In terms of the MACD, what's happening right now, we are looking at the uptrend fizzling out, right? It fizzled out for a bit, and now we're seeing that momentum growing again to the upside. But as I said, on the other side, we are near enough overly extended here. So the top side, I can see this basically hitting is probably around here in terms of an uptrend here. I can't see us getting all the way up to these high points here in terms of the MACD here. And that basically means that we are going to set some sort of trend coming through here. Some sort of trend cycle that I can see coming through here. Let me get that a bit smaller, yeah. Let me get some trend lines coming through. Let's get some trend lines coming through. We do obviously have this dominant trend line coming through, this uptrend cycle coming through on the MACD here. So if we are to see a surge in the price, we're probably looking at a nice level of resistance here. And that's basically going to mean we're going to have a bearish crossover, and we're going to basically the downtrend's going to fizzle out from here, and we're going to have that bearish crossover from there. So that's an indication that the price will potentially drop from there, right? Obviously at this horizontal resistance point. Definitely something to consider if we are going to be looking at a potential long trade there, right? Definitely something to consider indeed. Great TA, man. Thanks, Nilesh. Means a lot, man. Obviously, I've only been streaming for 2 weeks, right? So I'm still finding it pretty hard in terms of nerves and getting my opinion across. But yeah, I do really appreciate the compliments, because obviously I'm going to get some haters anytime soon, right? Anytime soon. Ivo T out. Thanks, Justin. Nice one. See you later, Ivo. Thanks for coming through yet again for like the 3rd day in the row, my guy. Thank you very much. Lethal Mind. Yeah, great choice to cut back on the drinking. Yeah, I'm picking out of an alcoholic. No, I don't drink a lot at all, man. I used to drink like every other weekend, like It's nice having a drink, right? But for me, I'm just trying to get my head in the game in terms of trading and in terms of content creation for you guys. I'm building a brand in a sense, right? So I'm really cutting back on everything and just being mature, right? Being really mature. Right, we're currently at 2 hours and 39 minutes for this stream right now. Getting pretty tired now, guys. Getting pretty tired. But I am going to try and push through to that three-hour mark there. And guys, if you're liking the stream, press that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algorithms. And God, I need the help right now. I remember spending like a few 3-4 days or something streaming to absolutely nobody, right? So it means a lot having literally 35 viewers here. It's absolutely crazy stuff. Thank you guys ever so much for tuning in to me, right? But yeah, let me jump to MIR for Lethal Mind, right? MIR for Lethal Mind. Sounds like some bars coming through there. But yeah, let's jump to the daily straight away. Not that much data in terms of Binance. Did get released in April on Binance. But yeah, the lowest low point, obviously, the crypto crash that we saw here. The lowest low point that we saw was $3.20. Yeah, $3.20. We have seen progression to the upside from there, and that is looking at around a 69-70% gain from there. But obviously, with the gain, you're looking at the pullback, right? And that's what we're currently experiencing. That's what we're currently experiencing. We did see that top out there at around that 55 moving average, and we did see that swift rejection. It wasn't slow, right? We did see that is a pretty big mega candle to the downside that we do need to think about there. But in a positive term, right? In a positive term, yes, we have just had that correction, but all of this buying power to the upside. Obviously, there's a lot of confidence in the market, a lot of confidence in this coin itself, right? And on the positive side, yet again, we are above the volume weighted ATR band. We're above the volume weighted ATR band, and that usually means we come down. We find a nice level of support on it, and then we bounce to the upside, right? So we bounce to the upside. So in terms of a target price, I would be looking to the upside of getting to this 55 moving average again. And if we can find a nice level of support on that, that would be absolutely ideal. Obviously, the last near enough 8 hours, well, 6 hours there, have been pretty flaccid indeed in terms of price action for this coin here. But it's needed, right? It's needed. It's need this consolidation sideways period, and I bet on the smaller time frames it is. Yeah, it's pretty sideways, pretty boring stuff happening there. But yeah, so we are needing this. It is needed when you're seeing insane validity in the market like this, right? Insane validity, insane candles going up percents at a time. Let's do some percents for that candle there, like literally 11% in one 4-hour movement there, and then in the next 4 hour we saw literally a dump of around 8% there. So you need this consolidation period, this sideways, where the market just chills out, man. It chills the F out before taking another leg up or potentially another leg down. But in terms of positivity, again, we are setting these high lows continuously. We haven't broken that sequence anytime soon. And I don't see it happening anytime soon. If it is going to happen anytime soon, we are going to be looking at a bounce on this 21 before we even break. Obviously on the basis that we break this volume weighted ATR band first, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, right? Because obviously the volume weighted ATR band is a very strong indicator in my opinion, right? So I can see us having a bounce there going up to 55. If that's not going to happen, we are going to bounce off this 21, and if that's not going to happen, then we're going to be bouncing off this point here, this level of support at $4.51, right? That'd be the lowest point I can see this going at this point in time. Obviously on the predication that Bitcoin doesn't fall through the ice. It doesn't fall through the ice. But yeah, that's kind of mirror summed up for now. Short-term targets for I wouldn't say for the next 4 to 8 hours, because obviously it's pretty flaccid at the moment, and you want to see that progression to the upside, not that insane parabolic run up to the upside. So I can see probably over maybe the next day or so, coming up, testing the 55 here, and finding a nice level of support on that, and that would be ideal for another leg up for Mir coin itself, right? Any other altcoins coming through on the chat there? Guys, if you've got any altcoins, smash them in the chat there, and I'll do a nice little TA for you on them itself, right? For the time being, I'm going to jump to VeChain. I'm pretty sure I've done all the altcoins in the chat. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done all the altcoins in the chat there. Could you explain what price action channel indicates? Basically, the price action channel, let me get rid of, let me go to Bitcoin, right? Let me go to Bitcoin for you, sir. Sir or Madam Wassam, not sure. Yeah, so let me indicate, let me get to this. Let me take away my moving averages. Let's take away the volume weighted ATR bands, and let's get rid of everything, right? Let's get rid of everything right now. Basically, just move that right there. Basically, right, this is obviously the 1 hour time frame, right? As you can see, comparing my chart to your chart, your candles, they're probably not blue, right? They're probably green. I think they're green. I've been using this for so long. I think they're probably green, right? So for me, if my candles are red, we're below the price action channel. That signals that we're in a downtrend, right? If my candles are blue, it signals we're in an uptrend, right? So potential trade positions, potential, in a sense, trade signals, right? So if we do lose the price action channel, as you can see, we do heavily respect it from either side, right? We heavily respect it. We usually always reclaim it, right? This primarily works a lot better on the hourly here, so we're always pretty much scurrying around it, and the price action channel is basically made up of all the major moving averages, so like the 10, the 21, the 55, the 200 SMA, the 200 EMA, the 377, and the 633, right? We chuck all of them into one in terms of an indicator itself, and this is basically an average, right? It gives an average of all of them put together, and as you can see, it primarily respects it, and it determines what sort of trend that we're in, right? In terms of trades, in terms of using this as a trade indicator, when we break to the upside and we basically signal that we're in an uptrend, right? As we break to the upside and we signal that we're in an uptrend, we wait for that retest, right? Oh, that's brought everything back. We wait for that retest here, and then there's a potential long position, obviously depending on everything else that's happening, right? Potential long position up to crucial levels of supports and resistance here. So for that trade there, it would have been a nice 8% there. Let me get rid of all this stuff again. Yeah, so I don't know if I can do percents with that being on there, right? But yeah, so if we're blue, right? If the candles are blue, we're in an uptrend. If we're red, we're in a downtrend, right? So it's a pretty good indication of what's happening in terms of price action here. And that's basically what the price action channel is here, right? Yeah, it's a great indicator that I use. It will be for lease. It will be available for lease, this WOD machine pretty soon, but I'm not really around to that. Yeah, I want to get my streaming ability up before I basically release any products or indicators or any of that good stuff there, right? But yeah, at this point in time, I guess there is no position to trade, isn't it? Sup, Chester? Yes, Leader Crypto, what are you saying, dog? Thank you, bro. I'm the newest investor, and I've been learning a lot from Hamilton. Glad I came across your channel, my dude. Thanks, man. Lethal Mind means a lot, bro. Obviously, I've only been streaming for literally like 2 weeks. So obviously, I'm a new streamer, and I'm trying to work on my confidence and get my point across in a positive way in terms of my trading ability, right? So yeah, it does mean a lot. You give me a compliment there. Means a lot, right? And if you want to be trading with me every single day, hit that subscribe button, notification bell. And you're never going to miss one of my uploads, and you're never going to miss one of my altcoin videos. I do emergency updates on genuinely all of crypto. If something crazy is happening in crypto, I will jump on, do an emergency update for you guys. And yeah, so if you never want to miss my uploads, hit that notification bell as well. And yeah, if you could smash the like button on the video, it would help me out tremendously. Turn the thumbs up blue. Yeah, it helps me out in terms of the YouTube algorithms, because obviously, as I said, I'm a new YouTuber here. But yeah, can you check out Aloha DeFi? I don't know if what's the thing for the coin for that, bro? If you chuck that in there, then I will I maybe try and search it, right? No, Aloha DeFi. Nope, can't find it, bro. Check out that. I think it might be called an acronym. I'm not sure, right? But yeah, for now, I'm going to be doing. I'll just jump onto VeChain, right? Jump onto VeChain. I'm pretty bullish on VeChain. Crucial points for VeChain, as I was saying earlier, we are testing these lower high points of this insane downtrend, this insane panic sell-off that we had here. But as you can see, we did come up, right? We did come up after we saw that absolute low of that 5 cents there for VeChain. That absolutely low. We came up, we set this lower high, right? We set this lower high point here, and this is crucial. This is crucial where we're testing at the moment, because if we do see that swift rejection from this lower high point here, if we do see that swift rejection, then it's not going to be small, right? It's not going to be small at all. So as you can see here, we did come up from this insane crash here. We did come up. We tested this point here, setting that lower high, and we saw that dump, right? In terms of percent for that dump to the downside for what happened there, we're looking at literally like a 30% retracement in the price there. Crazy, crazy stuff. And then what happened? We did it again, right? We came up to that point, and we dumped yet again, setting those lower highs continuously all the way down, and dumped another 35%. So it's crucial. It's absolutely crucial that we have this point as a target for VeChain right now, and it is one of the only altcoins in terms of crypto at this point in time that is testing this point. Obviously, it is on the Bitcoin chart as well. We do need to get to that point, and we are going to see a heavy level of resistance there as well, and it is pretty crucial. It's pretty crucial we find support, not resistance, because obviously we do have a lot of downwards pressure happening in terms of previous history with this point here. So in terms of place to watch at this point in time right now, we are looking at this point, right? We're looking at this point. Let me draw a little box here for you guys. Looking at this point here to basically break. If we find a nice level of support around the top side of this box, we would be looking at a leg up to the upside, right? That's the ideal scenario. Worst case scenario, you can see we're getting that resistance, right? We can see we're getting that resistance to the downside. Hopefully, we're not going to continuously set lower highs in terms of the trend that we're currently in here. Hopefully, we do break them to the upside, and we break this this grey block zone that we've got going on here, and then we see that progression to the upside. Hopefully, we can, but at this point in time, my target, short-term target, is to get through that point, and let's put that 12 cent 987 as a really short-term target to get over that, and then we're going to be looking at this point here at around 13.6 for VeChain before we're going to see any momentous move to the upside, right? Definitely something to consider. If we are going to see that rejection, right, if we're going to see that rejection for VeChain there, I would be looking at this as a horizontal point of support, as we do have this higher low point here to think about. Obviously, we are going to see that progression to the upside. Potentially, if we do see the resistance here, we could come down, smash through the 21 moving average and the price action channel here, switch to a downtrend here, and basically bounce off this point here, bounce off this crucial point. That's sort of the prediction. I could basically see what's happening. If we are to see that resistance to the downside, right, we are going to see a potential bounce here. If we aren't to see it, if the resistance to the downside is huge, like I said before, we did see that 35% correction. If we're going to see something along those lines, we could be seeing some sort of panic sell-off there. So it's definitely something to take into account. It could happen, right? It could happen. We don't know. And that's why this is such a crucial point to be watching in terms of crypto right now, in terms of this lower high point to break. But yeah, if I am going to see a lowest point that we are going to hit, we do obviously have this dominant level of support at 9 cents here for VeChain, which we are potentially looking at a bounce if we do lose it here. If we do lose it completely and it is just a massive panic sell-off like it is before, I don't see us setting a lower low coming through here. I don't see us setting a lower low anytime soon, because we do have this this level of support at the previous low close. Bit of a tongue twister there. Previous low close. So hopefully we can get a bounce off that, and that correlates basically with this volume weighted ATR band coming through here. And we do usually find nice levels of supports and resistance along the volume weighted ATR band in terms of touching it and then bouncing back to the upside. Another one coming through just over here, right? So it's definitely something to take into account in terms of we could potentially be looking at a long position if we are to crash off an absolute cliff here. But yeah, definitely very interesting to watch today on VeChain here. If we can break that to the upside, it is going to signal that we are going to push up to this 200 moving average here, and that is basically the 15 cent mark for VeChain there. Very, very interesting stuff, guys. If you guys have any requests, chuck them in the chat now. In terms of altcoins there. In terms of what I'm going to go to, I didn't actually do crypto.com, right? Bullish on crypto.com in my opinion, in terms of the fundamental side, just because of what they're doing. And every time I'm on socials or anything, it's always there. Crypto.com ad. So it's obviously getting a lot of the new retail people into the market, and that's obviously going to have an effect on the crypto.com coin itself, because they're going to be, I think they're releasing a blockchain pretty soon as well, doing the same sort of thing as Binance, right? And we've seen the progression of Binance coin itself, right? So that's an indication that crypto.com is going to do something along those lines. And for me, it's a hodl coin. It's a hold for a while. It's a hold for a while in my opinion. But as you can see, the lowest point that we hit right there was 8 cents for crypto.com, right? We have been setting continuously higher lows. Not as strong as most coins here in terms of higher lows here. We do have a smaller gap coming through here in terms of a retracement point to the downside here. But we have had a nice bounce here. We've had a nice bounce off the 21 moving average coming through here. A nice claim of support on the 55 moving average coming in here. And now we're progressing to the upside, right? Ideal scenario right now, we come up, we keep this upward selling power, and we break through this higher high point of this trend here and set a new high. Potentially finding a level of resistance at this at this 14 cent mark. Yeah, this 14 cent mark, as you can see here, pretty crucial in terms of a lower high point, as I was discussing before. It's on all the charts, right? It's on all the charts. We do need to break that, and you can see the downwards momentum from there, right? On the 4-hourly chart for crypto.com, definitely going to see some downwards momentum from there, some sort of rejection if we're not going to find support on it. Hopefully, we do find support on it. If not, we are going to see some major correction looking like so, right? Potentially bouncing off the 55, potentially off the 21 here, coming through. Definitely price action to watch for crypto.com. But we could be looking at another insane accumulation point. I was accumulating right at the bottom here. As the lower we were going, the more I was getting, because I am insanely bullish on this altcoin itself, right? For the long term, not for like a quick swing trade or anything like that. For the long term, I can see some insane gains happening for this coin, right? We did actually, I think that's a top out around this point here at 33 cents there. Oh no. Looks like we got pumped and dumped, right? We got the same pumped and dumped earlier on last July, right? And same pump and dump all the way up to $2. That's absolutely crazy, right? Don't see that happening anytime soon, but insanely bullish for the long term in terms of hodling, right? Ren. Let's do a little bit of Ren for Lethal Mind. Cool name as well, Lethal Mind. Do like that. Very creative. Bit of the Ren. Ren is pumping, man. Ren is mooning right now. That's very, very nice to see. And we still have an hour left in terms of a mooning target, right? In a sense, in terms of a mooning target. That's very, very interesting to see, because as I was discussing, this lower high point, we were scurrying around it, and we have actually broke it to the top side. And you can see the momentum to the upside, which is looking very, very good indeed. I do believe Ren is on Binance for you, NX there. Ren is on Binance there, but in my opinion, I wouldn't be looking at buying it now because in a sense you've missed the bus, right? You've missed the bus because we have seen that insane pump to the upside pretty recently on this candle, and that is literally like a 13%, 14% gain and still climbing. But obviously, as I've said before, if we're looking at pumps like this, we need corrections, right? So if you are going to be looking at getting in, you could potentially be buying the top before we come down and test this major level of support that we're going to be looking at now. And it's very good to see, right? It's very good to see a pump like this on a coin like this clearing this lower high point. So that's an indication that we could be seeing some sort of things happening along the same side of that on a lot of the other altcoins right there. So yeah, very, very good to see. It's pretty positive for me right there. I'm happy with that pump. Very, very nice indeed to see. But yeah, expect a correction. Don't be getting in now for the FOMO market. But yeah, target price for the moon, I would say it'd be around $72 there. And we do have the 200 moving average to look at a rejection point from there as well. But yeah, ideal scenario, I do think we are going to come down from here. I don't think we could potentially come up. If we are going to come up, we are going to basically see a reversal in the price, potentially bouncing off this point here before continuation to the upside, right? I don't see us I don't see us really going straight past this level of resistance here and this 200, because it'd just be insane, right? It'd just be absolutely insane, and we would need to see some sort of massive correction from there. And as I was just saying, we are currently up 15% in terms of the last 4 hourly candle there, and in terms of the daily right now, from literally open, we literally up 11%. Not actually so bad, right? Not actually so bad. But as you can see on the daily, we do have a nice level of resistance here on the 21. If we can clear that, that would be an indication that we are going to come up a little bit higher before we're seeing a reversal and potentially a retest on this 21 here. But as you can see, we haven't really seen any sort of correction recently since this downward point, since the lowest point at around 28 cents, right? We haven't really got it really dumped, didn't it? Jesus, up to 1 cent. When was that? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I have no idea why that was. But yeah, this was obviously the crypto crash. I don't have a clue why that dumped to 1 cent. It was a pumping serious dump, right? But yeah, in terms of what I think could happen on the daily, right? Target point, you want to be closing above this 21 to look at a leg higher, and then potentially on the 4 hourly here. Sorry, what was that price target for the 21 there? Closing around the 66 cent mark. If we close around the 66 cent mark for the 4 hourly here, sorry, getting pretty tired here, nearly coming up to 3 hours on the stream here. If we can close above this level here, we could be looking at another leg higher, but I can see a consolidation period happening over the next sort of day or so if we do close above that on the daily. If we do see some insane pumpage to the upside, we will see a swift rejection from this point here, because obviously a lot of the cryptos aren't really going up at the moment. So this is obviously going to get a lot of FOMO attraction in terms of pumping coins at this point in time. So take that into account, right? Take that into account, because if we are seeing that FOMO get in, we're going to see that FOMO get out, right? FOMO in, FOMO out. So definitely something to consider when trading the old Ren, right? Definitely something to consider when trading the old Ren. ETH hourly close for Greg Z right here. What can you tell us about Uniswap to BTC for Leader Crypto? If you bear with me 1 sec, I'll do the ETH hourly close. I do actually only have 3 minutes left. I'm going to call it at 3 hours, guys. I am pretty tired right now. But yeah, it's very nice to do a 3 hour stream for you guys, and I appreciate all of you guys for being here with me. And guys, if you like the stream, hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algos. Obviously, I'm a new guy on the block. Only been going for like 2 weeks here. So it does help me out tremendously. And if you never want to miss one of my uploads, never miss one of my streams, I stream every single day, Monday to Friday. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads here. And yeah, helps me out tremendously when you do that as well, right? So ETH hourly close right now. Let's have a little look at that right now. ETH hourly close. Oh, I mean, we're not quite getting to that target point which we were discussing. Granted, we are above this 21 moving average, which isn't so bad. We're finding a nice little support there. But on the positive side, we have been setting higher lows for this trend continuously, more or less all the way up, right? So it is a good sign in that sense. But also we have set a lower high, so that is an indication that we could be fizzling out for this trend. In terms of the hourly, could have another bounce off this 21 before we see a progression remove to the upside there. But yeah, for right now, for the short term for ETH, I do see us potentially coming down on the next candle down to around 2,758, maybe even a little bit lower than that, to 2,736. Worst case scenario, we have a complete trend reversal here, and we come down and we bounce off the 200 moving average coming here, and this major trend line that we've got coming up from here. I don't really see us losing that anytime soon. If we are going to lose that sometime soon, potential short position on the hourly there to think about, obviously referencing the other time frames there. But yeah, we do have, if that is to happen, we do have the 21 moving average coming up here on the 4 hourly time frame, and the price action channel coming up as well, which should be acting as a level of support, right? But we are looking at a lower high close, right? We're looking at a lower high close on the hourly, so definitely something to consider. But we do have another hour on the 4 hourly to get to the top side of this and create a higher high here in terms of this uptrend that we're looking for, in terms of a reversal for this sort of downwards momentum here. But obviously, crucial point here of this lower high from this insane dump from before, right? Crucial point. We are seeing that resistance from there. So yeah, goodness me, right? What was next? ETH hourly close. You can tell us about uni to BTC, right? Let me do uni to BTC. Uni to Bitcoin. Uni swap to Bitcoin. As you can see here, it has been pretty progressionary to the upside, right? It's looking pretty good. We have got over these lower high points, the crucial points, and we have seen that buying momentum to the upside, finding a nice level of support on the 200 moving average here. 200 moving average here, and basically the next target point to the upside would be around this this horizontal level of support here, and that would basically be this point here before we started dumping, right? And that would basically signify a pretty good recovery in terms of a V shape, right? In terms of a V shape recovery, couldn't really be that more obvious in terms of a V shape, right? We'd need to hit this point here and find a nice level of support on a 0.000078 mark there, and find a nice level of support there before progression to the upside and smashing out these resistance points on our way up, clearing those all-time highs, I do believe. Yes, oh no, not quite. Oh no, maybe, yeah, clearing those all-time highs at this point here. And we do have a nice target point of this volume weighted ATR band if we are going to keep this progression momentum to the upside, right? Keeping that progression momentum to the upside. And yes, it's not looking so bad because we are having these reversals, right? We're having these reversals. It's not that parabolic movement which we don't like. Obviously, we like it if we're hodling and we can sell at the top. Very juicy indeed. But we are going to see those insane corrections. We don't like buying into those parabolic movements because you are going to be smashing down, right? You are going to be smashing down once you see that parabolic movements. But we are seeing those corrections here, which is nice. It's good. It's nice and healthy, right? Nice and healthy, right? So I can see us potentially coming up target-wise, getting over this high point in terms of this uptrend that we were coming through here, and that would basically signal that we are going to come up further. But we are definitely going to find a bit of resistance around this point here. But yeah, we are setting higher highs continuously all the way up. Higher lows all the way up. Very, very nice indeed, bouncing off this 200. Worst case scenario, we fizzle out. We don't clear this lower high on the hourly time frame here, and we see a reversal in the trend, bounce off this 200 before we see another leg up to the upside, right? Very, very nice indeed. And that is the 4 hourly. On the hourly, we do have a nice support of this. Just saw that hourly close, very, very nice live on the stream there. We could see a nice bounce off this 21 moving averages as well here. Very interesting indeed. And yeah, very, very good things to think about if we do see that. We could see a bounce to the upside, testing this point. As I said, crucial point to get over here is this point here. Last one, BTT. All right, modified, just for you, sir, or woman, or them, in 2021, right? Who knows? Yeah, so BitTorrent. BitTorrent is seeing it's pretty swift recovery. Let's jump to the daily, right? Let's jump to the daily. Obviously, this is an insane crash. We found a nice level of support actually on this 200 moving average that we had coming through here, and we are actually testing this point of this crucial point as stated on a lot of the charts. These lower highs being set on that insane downtrend there, and the same momentum to the downside. But it's looking like we're favoring a nice, oh, that's the wrong thing. We're looking like we're favoring a nice level of support there and progression to the upside on most of the charts that I'm being requested at this point in time, which is what I'm seeing. But as I said, it is crucial for Bitcoin to see a nice level of support here and break this to the upside here. If we don't break this to the upside, I think we will see some insane correction to the downside in terms of correcting this uptrend that we've been finding here. Gonna need some more water. Correcting this uptrend that we've been finding here to the downside, right? But yeah, back to BTT. So it's crucial that we're actually getting over this point very nicely, in my opinion, right? Or testing it as of such, right? If we can find a nice level of support on there, I can see us progressing to the upside from there. But yeah, as I said here, we do have this lower low here to get over. And in order to do that, we need to get over this 55 moving average coming through here. But at this point in time, for this 4 hourly chart, we're looking at finding support on this. It would be very nice indeed if we can. TA bombs, thanks, man. Makes me feel a lot better. This Lou Happy Mountain means a lot, bro. Thank you very much indeed. Obviously, I'm a new streamer, only been going 2 weeks, so still working on my confidence and trying to get my point across in a professional sort of professional view, right? But yeah, seeing a nice recovery here for BitTorrent, right? If we find a nice level of support, I would be looking at targets of these lower highs coming down off this most recent trend that we got coming through here, and that would be next target of the short term here would be at 0.0044, and then the next target would be this point here at this 0.456, right? In terms of crucial point, as I said here, this is crucial that we get over that and find that momentum to the upside from there. That would be very, very nice indeed. But it's nice to see that we are breaking these lower highs, these previous lower highs, as we're coming up here and setting these higher lows, right? Very, very nice indeed. And yeah, that's kind of BitTorrent summed up right now. In terms of the targets, as I said, I would be looking at these zones here to get over. If we are going to lose it to the downside, if we are going to see that momentum to the downside, we do have this 21 and the price action channel to catch us, and that is sat around that 40.08 mark, 408.75 mark. So definitely a price to watch, place to watch out for in terms of a bounce. As you can see here, nice bounce off the 21 there. But yeah, if we are to lose that low point, we do have this horizontal support point set at around the 36.46 mark. Definitely a nice bounce point there potentially. And if we are to see that insane momentum to the downside, last possible bounce point would be this volume weighted ATR band, potential long position there if you do want to get into that, right? Hey, I just joined. Are you going to go over Bitcoin again at some point? I was literally just about to end the stream there, Michael, and it is at 3 hours and 5 minutes. But just for you, sir, I will do a nice quick summary on Bitcoin for you. I'll do the short term, the mid term, and the long term. I am going to be going really quite fast though, because I do need a drink of water pretty soon, right? I do need a drink of water pretty soon. And my throat is burning, right? In terms of Bitcoin right now, we do have this rise. We do have this, and I might mess it up a bit because I've been going for 3 hours, right? So just bear with me. But yeah, we do have this rising wedge that we got coming through here. We are testing the 200 moving average right now on the hourly chart here. We did actually currently find resistance on that on the previous hour. We did get a close below it, not very nice indeed. But at this point in time, we're seeing that pump to the upside. We're seeing us smash through that 200 moving average, very nice indeed. If we can find a nice level of support on that, the next short-term target for Bitcoin would be this horizontal level of resistance at 39.6. Unfortunately, I can't do XRP and SHIB right now. Because I'm going to be ending the stream in a minute. I'm just summarizing Bitcoin for Michael here. Wow, thanks, man. I appreciate it. No worries, bro. No worries, bro. If you like the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. Obviously, I'm a new streamer. I've only been here 2 weeks or so. So yeah, need help with those YouTube algorithms, right? So yeah, back to Bitcoin right now. If we do get a nice level of support on this horizontal resistance line, that is going to be around 39,600 there. If we do see some resistance there, I can see us coming down, bouncing off this pretty major low point, of this rising wedge that we've got coming through here. I can see us bouncing off that, respecting that nicely, and then potentially coiling up in terms of price action here. Before we break to the upside again, right? If we do break to the downside, right? There is a potential short position to look out for, right? Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just from educational standpoint, an educational potential position to get into, right? I'm not saying enter the position I'm in. Do your own research, right? So yeah, if we are gonna lose this rising wedge to the upside here, if we do lose it to the downside and break through all these major moving averages to the downside here, we could be looking at a measure move right, a measure move down, right? And this could be looking something along the lines of this in terms of percent. A nice 7% trade there. But obviously, we do have this trend line of this channel coming down here, right? We do have this trend line of this channel coming, the top side of this channel coming down here. So that's obviously going to act as a level of support, as it has done here, So that's definitely a potential take profit point in terms of taking a nice chunk of your position out to get yourself even to that break even point would be good, because if we do see a swift rejection from there and a straight up recovery, you're not going to be losing any money, right? You're not going to be losing any money. You can just exit your trade. But if we are to break to the downside, the next take profit point for me would be at this horizontal resistance point here. Being at the previous higher low that we set here, so definitely a potential take profit point there as well. I mean, I wouldn't expect with these levels of support playing out in terms of the short term for Bitcoin right now. I wouldn't expect a completion of this measure move to the downside here, around that 7 or 8% trade. But yeah, if you're looking at a take profit around that zone, you're looking at a nice 3% there, and you're looking at a nice 5% there. Nice little swing for Bitcoin, obviously on the predication of where we're going to break along this trend line. If we do break to the downside and we don't find support at this point here, ideally right now, what has just happened for Bitcoin, we have just set we did set a lower high in terms of this downtrend coming down here. We have set a lower high, and we did actually beat that here. We have just beat that and set a high in terms of the uptrend here. Very, very nice stuff indeed, and that is an indication that we are going to basically progress up to the upside if we don't find a level of resistance on this 200 and this horizontal resistance line. Thanks, bud. Killing it better than your brother. Oh, okay. Sorry, Brown. So ideally, we could be finding a nice level of support to the upside and progressing like that. And that would mean we are going to have the next horizontal resistance point at 40,569, right? Ideally, that's the ideal scenario for Bitcoin because we want it to go up. We've had this nice correction in terms of price correction here. We do want it to go up. And the next crucial point, which I will talk about on the midterm for Bitcoin right now, we do have this rising price channel that we've got coming through here, and also potential short position if we are to break to the downside. And I drew that when we were on the downside of this rising price channel coming through here. So definitely something to consider there. But as I said, on the predication of these take profit points all the way along the downside on the short term, right? At this point in time, we are currently coming up on the 4-hourly chart to come and tackle the 55 moving average, right? To come and tackle the 55 moving average, which is currently sat at 39,840, right? If we can come up, tackle that, don't get enough resistance off it, break through it, find the support, progress to the upside. Our next target would be the top side of this channel, right? The top side of this channel, which would be very, very juicy indeed. But be prepared, right? Be prepared for an insane correction from there because we do have these very crucial. I can't stress this enough. These are very, very, very crucial lower high points for Bitcoin, right? Very, very lower high points in terms of the downtrend that we had here. We do need to break these. Primarily, this is the most crucial one, right? Because as you can see here, we did see obviously this lower low, the 30k Bitcoin come through here, and then we saw us basically recover. We saw the buying power to the upside from there, and we hit that crucial point, right? We hit the crucial point here of setting these lower highs, and then we saw the insane dump to the downside from there, and that was literally like a 7% dump in terms of resistance there for Bitcoin. Literally in one 4-hour candle there, and then after that we actually saw another dump coming through there, and that was like an 18% dump there. So it's very likely we are going to find heavy points of resistance at these zones here, so definitely be aware for that and watch that price action as it happens, because we could seriously dump off a cliff. And if we are going to dump off a cliff again, we are going to see some panic selling coming through as well there, so definitely take that into account. You're good, thank you, session Berlin. Definitely take that into account when trading Bitcoin right now. But crucial points, if we do get over this point, I am looking at a leg up potentially. That would be very, very nice indeed, a nice leg up from there. But as I said, we do have a lot of resistance there to get through. But yeah, if we, let me jump to the long term quickly. Let me jump to the RSI on the midterm, right? On the midterm, right, we do have this RSI coming through. We do have this downward sloping resistance line. Obviously, we are primarily respecting it in terms of price action here, in terms of buying power to the upside. We're primarily respecting it, and seeing that selling power, that rejection in terms of, obviously, we are going to see these spillovers, right? But at this point in time, we are going to be using it as a resistance line, a downward sloping resistance line. So as you can see here, we're coming up to test it in terms of buying power, right? It's an indication, way better than I expected, thank you. Go get yourself water, bro. No sweat, bro, we'll do in a sec. But yeah, as you can see here, we do have this pretty dominant downward sloping resistance line on the RSI to think about. So if we are going to come up and we are going to be testing the 55, we could see some resistance on the RSI in terms of selling power, right? So that could initiate that we are going to have a bit of a correction in terms of selling power to the downside here, and that basically means that we could be coming back down off this potential candle close. Even if we close above the 55, we could still see that resistance on the RSI. So definitely manage that if you are going to be trading Bitcoin at this point in time. Definitely manage that if you are going to be trading Bitcoin at this time, because we could see a swift rejection from there, coming down to potentially the 21 moving average coming through here, and also we got the 10 moving average coming through here as well, right? Let me jump to the long term quickly for a quick summary there. On the long term, before I end the stream, guys, I am going for like 3 hours and 15 minutes now. Crazy stuff. Very, very tired. But in my head now, I do want to get another stream today. That would be really nice indeed. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you never want to miss one of my streams, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously, right? Obviously, I am a new YouTuber here, and to get on these YouTube algos, it's pretty impossible, right? It's really, really hard, right? So yeah, I do appreciate all of you guys staying here for my live stream here. Very, very appreciated. And I would like to get another live stream in potentially a few hours or so. I don't think I'm going to be going for another 3 hours again, but potentially like maybe an hour or so, something like that. Just a quick update if we see some insane price action there as well. But yeah, long term for Bitcoin right now, as I said, these crucial lower high points to get through are around this point here, around that 41k mark. Definitely a crucial point to get through. If we do get through that point there and we do find a nice level of support, that's lovely, right? That's basically a signal that we are going to continuously set these high lows all the way up, and we are going to see this trend continue, right? Trend continue to the upside. But you do need to think, right? You do need to think. Let me get rid of the waddy wad for now. You do need to think at this point in time. we do have what we call this bull market barrier coming through. That's the wrong one. This bull market barrier coming through here. If we're blue, we're in a bull market. If we're red, we're in a bear market, right? At this point in time, we are in the uncertain times, right? We're in the uncertain times, whether we're in a bull, whether we're in a bear. And this is basically this yellow point here. If we're yellow, we're in the uncertainty. Obviously, let me jump back to the previous bull market quickly. We did actually see this is really quite interesting stuff here. As you can see here, we did lose the bull market barrier. We saw the uncertainty in the market. We saw us change yellow here. We saw that dump down, right? But that dump down, that bottom, that insane panic sell that we saw, which we've kind of more or less just seen there, we actually saw a retracement in the price of nearly 100%, right? So it's definitely something to think about. Sorry, nearly 100% before we saw that continuation of the bear market, right? So it's definitely something to think about in terms of what could be happening in terms of live price action now, right? So if we jump back to live price action now, if we are going to see some sort of retracement looking along the lines of that before actually switching to the bear market and basically trapping everyone out, we're going to be looking at something this year. If we're mirroring it, of course, it's going to be looking at something along the lines of this, coming up to this point, coming up to that 57,000 point, and then dumping down to the deep sea dive floor from there, right? And just imagine how trapped everyone would feel when we're getting to this level if they dumped it again from there. Crazy, crazy stuff. Definitely something to think about in terms of the long term for Bitcoin. But in terms of the next week, you will have 10,000 subscribers. God, I hope so. That'd be amazing. And all you guys are here early. Great content, mate. Just slow down a little. Oh, thanks, guys. Really means a lot. But yeah, what was I saying? I just completely lost my train of thought there. But yeah, target points for Bitcoin to be looking at is that 41k zone. Pretty crucial that we find support on that to continue this uptrend. But if not, we are going to be looking at swift rejection off this bull market barrier. So we are going to find some more resistance at 43k there. Definitely something to think about, right? Definitely something to think about, right? That's it. I can't do any more, guys. I'm done, right? Thank you ever so much for being here. It means a lot. If you could smash that like button up, it would help me out tremendously. God, I need a drink now. And turn that thumbs up blue, right? And guys, if you never want to miss one of my streams, never want to miss one of my uploads, you're still streaming, grinding out here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bitcoin Beats. Shout out there. That's the bro. That's the big bro, right? Yeah, so I am going to be ending the stream now on that 3 hours and 15-minute zone. But yeah, guys, thank you ever so much for being here. If you never want to miss one of my streams, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I also do altcoin videos. I also do just any updates on crypto. Really, I like to make content for you guys, right? So if you could hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, you're never going to miss one of my uploads. And as I said a minute ago, I have really enjoyed today's stream. So I'm debating, I'm probably going to get in another 1 hour stream later on today. So if you hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified when that happens. But a big thank you from me to you guys. This is basically Crypto Chester signing out, right? Thanks again, guys. Thank you very much indeed.